Hi, I'm Linnea Quigley. You're going to hear Movie Dumpster. Movie Dumpster. Movie Dumpster. If you don't see it, you're insane.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the brand new season of Movie Dumpster. We got season 3 kicking up today. And for our first episode, we got Pumpkinhead II, a.k.a. Pumpkinhead II Blood Wings, a.k.a. Pumpkinhead Blood Wings, a.k.a. Blood Wings Pumpkinhead's Revenge, from 1993, directed by Jeff Burr. I'm Joel Scola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor. Don't ever talk to me or my rat son ever again.
And I'm Tony from Hack the Movies, and also rental reviews, but mostly Hack the Movies.
Welcome to the dumpster.
There is a nursery rhyme about it, isn't there? How does it go? Bolted doors and windows barred. Guard dogs prowling in the yard. Won't protect you in your bed. Nothing will. From Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, so here we are, we're back for the new year finally with season 3. The shit that we have coming up for this season is like blowing my mind.
People don't even know.
No, like all the planning and stuff we've been doing and like the connections we've been talking to people and stuff. It's been pretty wild over the past couple weeks. But today we have our good friend of ours, Tony Peluso,
yes,
with us from Hack the Movies and Rental Reviews, joining us today for Pumpkinhead II.
Yes, I insisted I be on this episode.
I'm not sure what that says about you.
I don't know what it was. It was on Hulu a few months back, and I think I was just messaging Joe while watching it. I forget. And then we bitched about it at a Halloween party.
Yeah, Tony's. We've been back and forth about Tony coming on the show for a while, and then we and then I think I was just like watching this, and I made a post about it, and you were like,
right.
"Oh man, we gotta fucking do that."
Yeah. Because I've seen this movie a lot. I think I saw this before Pumpkinhead 1.
Oh no!
Like it was just on TV.
Oh, that's great. So you had a palate cleanser afterwards.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get into it, but all the flashback stuff, I assume that was in Pumpkinhead 1.
Oh my god.
Accurate. And then I rented like Pumpkinhead 1 as a kid, like a little bit after seeing the second one. And I was like, oh wait, this is completely different and a lot better. This is like so much better than that other movie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's an understatement.
So, I watched the first one and second one today because I hadn't seen the first one in a long time. I'd seen it a bunch of times. And Joe went and watched 3 and 4, which debuted on the Sci-Fi Channel some time ago. I remember seeing those when they aired because for some reason I was excited about it.
Yeah, I watched 3 and 4 last night because I was like, you know what? I love Pumpkinhead, and I've seen it a ton of times, right? And I watched Blood Wings a few months ago, and I was like, this movie sucks, because I had just watched it like right after Pumpkinhead, so I was like, ugh, what is this? Ew.
Well, I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we ripped that bandage off already because.
But here's the caveat to that. I watched 3 and 4 last night, Ashes to Ashes and Blood Feud. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take back some of those things I said about Blood Wings. Because my fucking goodness, 3 is definitely the worst out of the bunch, and 4 is bad, but not as bad as 3, but my goodness.
Is it kind of like the Child's Play series, but it peaked sooner?
Not as bad. It's not that bad.
Oh, no, I like the Child's Play movies.
You mean the Chucky movies, like Seed of Chucky?
Well, I mean, up to 3. Like, 3 is a stinker, but it's watchable.
At least this series had the decency to just die after 4 movies instead of just limping on for an extra decade and a half.
Well,
I remember getting excited that they were going to do a third one. And then I only saw like 10 minutes of it on Sci-Fi Channel because I like got home late. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'll watch it another time when it airs again. And then I never did. And then I watched a little bit of Pumpkinhead 4 and they were talking about an old car. And I was like, you know what? I think I'd give this one a skip. I think I'm good with that.
3 has Doug Bradley in it?
Oh god.
Slumming it. Absolutely slumming it.
Oh my goodness. Homeboy needed a fucking paycheck. Let me tell you something.
Doug Bradley is in so many shitty sequels.
I don't get it, and he's such a good actor too.
He's a great actor, but he's like in like Wrong Turn 4.
Yeah, like what? Why?
And yet, when it came to Hellraiser Revelations, he demanded to see a script, and they were like, no. And he's like, all right, get fucked. And just didn't do the movie.
Yeah, because they wrote it in like a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially part 3 is just like, who the fuck said this was a good idea? Right? Like,
I have a better question: is who looked at the first movie and said, this has real franchise potential?
okay, well, here...
Come on, first one's good.
I mean, okay, you know what? It kind of does. You could,
It does!
and that's what pissed me off about Pumpkinhead 2. It doesn't even follow like
No.
because you could have done a whole formula where this person gets wronged and hires Pumpkinhead.
Sure.
Right.
They hire Pumpkinhead.
Fucking hitman from hell.
They hire him. They go to the witch. They go to his agent, the witch in the woods. That's Pumpkinhead's agent. They negotiate a deal.
Does Pumpkinhead have fucking classifieds out there on Craigslist and shit too? Like will revenge for fee?
Yeah. Revenge for hire.
Listen, we're gonna whack everybody that you want to fucking get revenge on with a demon from hell.
It's a formula that's set up, and then the second movie just screws it all up. Like, it was just, you could have just did a by the numbers rehash. I mean,
Yeah.
that's also stupid, but that would have been more safe.
This movie, the second one in particular, is like the director, Jeff Burr, was like, I remember I saw Pumpkinhead like 10 years ago. I'm going to try to fucking do it again from memory.
I had a different vision of this director. I imagine he showed up on set the first day with giant sunglasses, just like bobbing his head up and down and just going, all right, let's make a movie, let's make a movie, let's make a movie, let's make a movie. Just like fucking blasted on cocaine the whole time, because that's the only way I conceive of making this movie the way it was.
I imagine he didn't read, like, he read the script but didn't see the first movie. So, like, when the monster showed up, he was like, where's the pumpkin? I don't get it.
He also did other famous movie sequels like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Oh, yeah.
Leatherface from that is in this movie. He's the biker that gets killed.
Sure is.
Oh my
you
god,
fucking
is he?
kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Leatherface from that movie.
Fucking Kane Hodder's in this movie, too. Yeah. And Linnea Quigley.
Is he?
Yeah, quite suddenly.
And then the sheriff is Larry from Hellraiser.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Andrew Robinson returns to the MDU.
He sure does. Uncle Frank, come to daddy.
From Chucky 3, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah, this guy's done like a ton of shit that I've seen, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he did From a Whisper to a Scream. He did The Stepfather 2. He did a couple episodes of the Land of the Lost reboot that Nickelodeon did with the Kyoto brothers.
And Big Bad Beetleborgs, believe it or fucking not.
Oh my
3
God.
episodes.
Here's where this blows my mind. Puppet Master 4 and 5.
Right.
And look, those are 4 and 5 of the series, and it's like, but those films are like decent sequels.
Are they? Because I have 5 on VHS. I remember that's one of the few movies I had to turn off. I was
Really?
like, I can't. Maybe it's because I missed 3 and 4 and I don't know the lore, but I couldn't get through that movie.
You have to see 4 to kind of get 5 because they were like shot back to back. It's one of those deals.
Oh, and then it's perfect afterwards,
yeah.
right?
Well, no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not perfect, but it's fine.
Yeah, the Littlest Reich reinvigorated cinema all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
You shut your dirty mouth.
Well, you know what? As Joe is leading up to, this guy then went on to do Blitzkrieg Massacre.
I didn't see that shit. Sure didn't. Yeah, but like Puppet Master 4 is one of the better sequels of that series, and that's why I was a little confused, because I was like, all right, well, you've obviously been in like the ass end of like a franchise that's already tired as fuck, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here you are like on the second film, like and making this a franchise, and you just fuck this up, like.
Yeah.
And he dries up the well in his first attempt.
In like a second, and it's just like he tries some stuff in this movie that I'm like, all right, but then I'm like, you totally fucked the whole lore, and like, as Pumpkinhead as a vengeance demon doesn't even fucking make sense, but they keep saying that over and over again.
Yeah, they screw up the lore, and then they don't even they don't even do like a Howling thing where like each movie is so different from the other one.
Sure, like in name only.
Yeah, it's just kind of like Pumpkinhead, but not really. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the first movie like has rules and it abides by those rules.
Yeah.
And the second one comes along and they're just like, yeah, fuck all that. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it has rules, but the rules aren't really. They're just not good. They're not consistent.
They're not at all.
That's fair.
They make literally no sense. Especially that they're already pre-established in the first film,
Right?
And then
right.
they try to in 3 they backtrack a little bit and they like put Lance Henriksen's character back into the mix.
He's like a ghost, right?
Yeah, he becomes like a ghost, like the keeper of Pumpkinhead or some shit.
What is this? The man with no name?
He's like hanging. Okay, so the witch in the first movie, her name is Haggis, and she lives in Razorback Hollow, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And she's this mysterious witch woman.
Yeah.
And all that mystique is completely gone in the third and fourth film. And Lance Harrison's just like, yeah, there's some people from town or whatever. Don't let out Pumpkinhead. Remember when I did that? It was a fucking shit show.
It was a real bad day.
and like they like dig the only cool part about 3 is that when they dig up the Pumpkinhead corpse, because they actually go back to the fucking pumpkin patch in that one and dig up the corpse, and it's Lance Henriksen from the first movie, which is cool, because like that's what happens to him
That's
at the end.
Yeah, because he turns,
right. And then the rest of the movie is just fucks right off and does its own stupid thing.
Wait, so 3 ignores 2?
Oh yeah, it's like a direct sequel to the first one.
Okay, because I was gonna say the witch dies in this one,
But it's not the same witch.
it's not the same witch.
No, this bitch's name is OC or something.
Which is like such an easy connection you could make. Just keep the name the same, and you could be like, "Oh, look, it's the same one from the first one." No, totally different person.
Fuck it.
So it's not the same witch. There's just another scary witch lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, like Joe said, she was named Haggis in the first one. In this one, her name's Otis.
Or OC or some shit.
Oh yeah,
Oh
OC.
my
OC, yeah.
god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Unless she was like OC Haggis, I don't fucking know.
That's her
Could
sister? Oh my god, she's one of the Stygian witches with Granny Van Dam, dude.
Be. Could be. I mean, they always come in threes. That's a coven, isn't it?
That's true.
She is blind.
She is one of Granny Van Dam's acolytes.
It's a possibility.
Oh man, she's the mother of tears.
Yeah.
So let's crunch this real quick. So this is the sequel to a movie that has nothing to fucking do with except for Pumpkinhead.
Yes.
So the backstory in this is a bunch of kids in the 50s kill this retarded kid.
They straight up murder him, like violently.
Oh, it's fucking beyond brutal.
It's fucked up.
It's not even bullying. Like, there's
No.
not one person that goes like, hey, whoa, this is a little too much.
Hey,
They just-
maybe this is a little too much. Okay, just keep going.
And then we flash forward and then like some new kids you know what? My fucking head hurts. Let's just go through this fucking thing because it's so hard to
Basically,
explain.
they do something shitty that causes Pumpkinhead to come back, and he starts to fucking take his revenge on the town.
Sort of, question mark.
There's basically 2 plots happening in this film.
Yeah.
One is important and is supposed to drive the movie, and it doesn't, and the other one takes the front seat for too long, and it just like it essentially creates 2 films that are happening side by side that happen to be in the same location.
Yeah, and they're like loosely connected. So yeah, you're right. So the 50s kids kill this boy, and then the mother, who is not the witch from the first one, rolls around on the ground, and she has a man's voice for some reason. And then so then there's the teens. One of them are hanging out with the new sheriff's daughter, and they're thrill seekers. That was like the thing. They're thrill seekers. So they're driving with the lights off, and when they turn it on, they hit the old lady.
Yeah.
And that doesn't kill her.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. There's some shit that goes down.
Yeah, and then Punky Brewster's like, oh, she's a witch, this is magic. And then they all right away believe in magic. And then the Book of the Dead is there because K and B worked on the movie. And then
Yeah, literally.
And then so the car didn't hit her, but the guy knocking her over and lighting the barn on fire, that's what does her in. But it doesn't even do her in.
Yeah, she got hit with a mag light, and she's like, "I'm calling my fucking demon on you."
Yeah. So she calls up Pumpkinhead. She phones him up.
I guess.
Who's not Pumpkinhead. It's the boy who is a pumpkin.
Yes.
Right, like it's a race.
Are you lost yet? Because we were.
Yeah. And then Pumpkin Boy is like, hey, I know I got to kill these kids, but I got some shit to deal with. So he goes and kills the 50s dudes first.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is like it appears that he goes around and just murders a bunch of yokels, in which we'll get to. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
who don't have names, just like they're just doing random shit. And then the movie's like, oh yeah, we should probably identify these people.
Yeah.
And the movie repeatedly reminds you they're either hicks, morons, or degenerates.
Yeah, so you don't feel bad for them.
So we just fucking kick this movie right off with a good old-fashioned bat beating? This poor
Well,
motherfucker.
hang on, I want to talk about the opening credits real fast.
Okay, go for it.
This shit opens up with like the peak 90s like discount Chemical Brothers Prodigy industrial music, which is so not what I think of when I think of Pumpkinhead.
I just think of Christian Bale with fucking two guns doing some gun kata in a fucking dark room.
And it ends with an explosion that transitions into a fireplace. I'm like, okay, movie.
You've got me.
It's like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, right.
And then we're thrown to the 50s and it's black and white, and I swear to God, it's stolen from Tremors. The music suddenly shifts to
Actually, that music kind of sounded like Pumpkinhead 1 from what I can remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this fucking like softcore like 80s synth shit? And then all of a sudden it's just like twang backwoods water music, and I'm like, oh, there we go. Here we go.
It's like the most generic, just Western fucking like royalty-free music that like everybody used at that time.
What kind of music do you want to hear? I don't know, something rustic.
Here, slide guitar. Here we go.
Throw a didgeridoo in there occasionally to mix it up.
Pumpkin here.
But yeah, we open up with it's Farron Woods.
The Farron Woods. Like, that fucking matters, right? Like, they made a point to say, like, it takes place in the Farron Woods.
Cool.
Okay, it's 1958.
And it's 1958, and this old woman, this old crone, not the same one from the first movie, is outside like, Tommy, here's a plate of old food.
Looks like pig slop.
Dude, it's eyeballs.
Yeah, she's feeding him like a dog, and it's like, isn't that your kid? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know if it's her kid.
She's like, he's nowhere to be found. Maybe I'll just give him this rotting 3-day-old food. Maybe he'll eat this.
I'll just leave it in the grass.
Yeah.
And then Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 2 reaches over and grabs the plate of food.
He looks like that and the Calibus from the Clash of the Titans reboot.
Yes.
Which you guys did that movie, right?
Yeah, we sure did.
We did.
Oh, that movie's shit. But yeah, so he reminded me of that.
How's that T-shirt holding up there, Connor?
Huh?
Real quick, Lillian Chauvin as the old lady Osi in this. Does anybody know who that is?
No.
No?
Fucking Mother Superior from Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh my
Oh.
god!
Yeah.
What a cameo!
The only other fucking movie that I've seen her in besides this is Predator 2. When Danny Glover goes to see the scientist with like the bar.
Oh yeah, her. I remember her.
It has no weight.
It's almost no. Yeah.
Oh man, she's great.
Yeah.
What is she doing in this movie?
I don't know. She's covered in makeup. You can't even tell it's her.
So who did her voice? Because that is not her voice.
I don't know because
she sounds like a withered, tired old man. She's like,
Yeah.
"Hello, Tommy. Where are you? Here's your old food."
And they have her like talking in slow motion, but it doesn't like the footage is in slow motion, but the audio just sounds like a guy going, Tommy,
Right.
no.
Tommy.
as these fucking they're not even beatniks. These are fucking squares, dude. They're like in
Yeah.
a car club and shit, and they're hammered. They just chase after this poor kid and they beat him senseless with a fucking
Yeah.
baseball bat. Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty intense. Like, I didn't remember it being that intense.
Well, and then the main kid takes it to the next level with the fucking switchblade, and just everyone just stands there as he casually just like swipes at this guy for a minute or two.
Well, yeah, they string him up on like they're over this abandoned mine shaft, and there's
Yeah.
like crane hooks that are suspended above it, and someone's like, string him up, and they just do.
Yep.
And then they stab at him like he's a fucking pinata. Well, the main one does.
This fucking guy stabs him like 900 times.
It's messed up.
It is.
And they're like, drop him, and then they just proceed to absolutely murder the shit out of this kid. But the whole time, like, old lady is like, "Rah!" And she's just rolling on the ground, feeling this pain. I don't know why.
Oh, that's the thing from the first movie that they carried over. Remember that?
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
No, it doesn't. That's the problem.
I guess maybe it does when you learn the twist at the end, which I can't
right.
wait till we get to the twist at the end. But or toward the end, the twist.
Yeah.
But yeah, right off the bat, it doesn't make any sense.
So they drop this poor fuck down a mine shaft, and then we fast forward to
Oh yeah, we go to the sheriff.
Andrew Robinson?
yep, Sean Brodak.
He's great. I actually like Andrew Robinson.
He's really good in this.
I think he's fine.
Yeah, he's better than he has to be. Like, he doesn't have to be this good.
And he's rocking that mustache, man. I
Yeah.
kind of want him to give me a mustache ride.
This came out the same year as Child's Play 3. I feel like he was doing them simultaneously.
Oh, I think he had one in that movie, too.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was like the same year.
I can't shave the mustache. I have multiple roles with it.
Oh my god, it's like the inverted Henry Cavill thing. His mustache just carried over between films instead of having it digitally erased.
You know what? I'm feeling it. Here we go.
Yeah, I wish he was in more things that I see. But it looks like he's mostly like TV and voiceover stuff now.
He's probably still getting those fucking Hellraiser checks. Even if
Yeah.
there's dimes and nickels here and there. He's getting those till the day he dies.
He gets a letter, he's like, they made a new one?
But yeah, he's like a really like kind and caring guy in this, and he's actually like putting effort into the role, and it's like, oh, don't do that for this one. You know, you can phone this one in, Andrew. Like, come on.
Hey, man, he takes his job seriously, and I thank him for that.
He does.
He's a true actor. So he plays this cop. Okay, so I was confused about this, too, in the beginning, because I remember him being from the town, and I'm watching it, and he's like, yep, we just moved here from the big city.
He moved back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, they really make sure you understand that they're new in town. I think they give like 4 or 5 lines of dialogue to make sure you know they just moved here.
But that's the thing, like he already lived there, so it's like, oh, now we got to get to know the same people over again? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, towns change when
Sure.
you leave, I guess. If I went back to my old neighborhood, I wouldn't know most of the people there.
Yeah, but this strikes me as a town where the people who live there never fucking leave.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, everyone's still there. Like, it's unreasonable that Pumpkinhead didn't have to get like a flight to another town to kill one of those guys. Like, they all stayed in the same town. No one ever moved. No one ever died in between. Like, no one.
Fucking Pumpkinhead like Scatman Crothers in The Shining, like on the fucking plane,
Just sitting there.
just spacing out.
You're telling me none of those guys are in prison? They all grew up to be upstanding citizen. Like,
Or just died.
Well, if you think about it, they got away with murder, so they're clearly like, upper class white privileged men. So it doesn't shock me entirely.
I guess.
Also, their friend is a literal judge. So.
Yeah.
I guess.
Does Tommy act kind of like Pennywise in a sense, where like they all came together to kill him, and they all like lived like shitty, like high class white people lives?
I was kind of thinking that, honestly.
Yeah, man, Pennywise, he had a really great plan. I'm gonna take over the world, but I'm just gonna be in this town,
Because it's fun.
but only every 30 years. And it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? Maybe we should just leave the town.
I could dominate your incredibly fragile race, but I'm going to stay in Maine.
It's the same thing with Pumpkinhead. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get vengeance, but only if you're like within 6 miles.
Only in the backwoods areas.
Well, yeah, because the sheriff and his wife are talking about, oh, yeah, this will be good for us, then it'll be good for our daughter. And his wife's like, well, I'm kind of worried about her. Cut to, like, oh, let's make these teenagers look like degenerates. They're, like, lighting up a joint. They're making out. They're, like, going to skip class. And, of course, Jenny's walking right up to him like, I want to be friends with these people.
Amy Dolan's, dude. Sign me up for that.
Also, who is the lead kid among this group of idiots? He looks super familiar, and I can't put my finger on where he is. I forgot to look him up.
I don't know. His name's Danny, though.
I will say, if I saw some people just, like, being that ballsy, sitting right outside the fucking high school, hitting a J, I might walk up and ask for a hit. I'm not going to lie.
Sean, how about you should come to Las Vegas for a day and just see what kind of stuff happens in broad daylight.
Get the true experience.
Yeah, I've had 2 people try to sell me meth from their cars in broad daylight in a parking lot that's just open.
Hey, maybe you don't want to do that.
What'd you call it? That actor? He was in Meatballs 4, Return of the Living Dead 3.
Oh,
Yes.
he's the boyfriend in that movie. Okay.
And that's it. And that was the end of his career.
They're all immediately shitty people. And Jenny's gonna hang out with him because fuck it, she hates her dad, I guess.
Does she hate her dad? I didn't really get that she hated her dad.
I think it was like that weird like kind of tension because he's a cop and she's a teenager. Because at the end, they're like, when they make up, they're like, man, I don't know why I was ever mad at you, Dad.
He's like, me neither. It was weird.
They never like go into what she did in the city to cause them to move, but it's some bad shit.
Yeah, it's like implied by her quote unquote friends.
No, by her dad. She's like, you're doing it all over again. This is why we had to move to this fucking town.
Yeah, like it's Big Bully or some shit.
And it's like, what? Because she's like having a beer? Like smoking Did you kill a witch in this city?
You had a beer at a party. We're going to go to the town where the pumpkin demon lives. That'll set you straight.
That's better than this.
Let's go to this town where I know of a nursery rhyme about a fucking vengeance demon that comes around every now and then. Also, there's a boy who was dropped into a mine shaft. Those two things aren't related.
Well, then we go to the sheriff's station and we get this first interaction with this fucking hunter, Ernst. I can't believe you raised the price on the hunting licenses. That'll be $10, sir. Oh my God. It's like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
I like the way things were afore.
He blames the sheriff and the judge like, hey, look, the price goes up. He had nothing to do with him. And he's like, well, I liked it better before. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure everyone liked the price better before, but it's not really his fault. Like,
I liked when gas cost 50 cents in 1964.
By the way, don't call me Slick. And everyone's like, okay.
Slick.
I never liked when you called me Slick. My name's Ernst. And he's like, yeah, all right, Slick. It's like fucking Tommy Lee Jones and Men in Black.
It means precisely dick. So then we're fucking Andrew Robinson has to go get like a fucking physical, and just so we can get introduced to this doctor character, Delilah,
Yeah.
His fucking mistress?
or whatever.
Yeah.
That woman has more screen time than his wife and acts like every time he interacts with his wife, it's like, do you know that person? Is she hired help? Like, oh, it's your wife. I couldn't tell. And like this doctor character's like embracing him the whole movie and is at his house for like breakfast and shit. Like,
Yeah, why wouldn't they just be like, there is no wife and he's got like a relationship with this doctor girl? Like,
Sure, I mean,
simplify the script a little bit because you're right. I kept forgetting the wife was in the movie.
she's like anecdotal than anything, right?
yeah, hello, wife. She's like, hi, and just walks away.
Maybe you should do that. Bye.
He looks at the camera. He's like, that's right, I'm married.
I sure am. Go make dinner now. Oh yeah, she's there to say dinner's ready. And then she just fucks off.
Someone's like, who's that?
Hey, honey, we're talking about a pumpkin demon here.
Dude, when we fucking get to that shit. Oh my goodness. So she comes in, she's like, hi, I'm Delilah. My mother was a witch or whatever, a witch doctor.
A witch doctor.
Okay.
Cool.
These are things that you bring up in casual conversations.
We're not in like New Orleans.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there is no voodoo shit going on. I don't know, it's just very
It's just like a weird thing to be like, hey, just met you. By the way, I have some voodoo in my blood.
just to say that, to be like, to make it more believable, like to make her more believable when she's like, yep, it's Pumpkinhead, all right.
Sure.
It's Pumpkinhead 2, TM.
We also have this fucking mayor is introduced in this scene. He just kind of strolls in. Ah, you're a hard man to find, Sheriff.
Hand me my guitar, please.
Roger Clinton fucking comes right in.
Yeah, wait, can we mention that's Bill Clinton's younger half brother? Roger Clinton, who was in a band.
Oh my god, this is the Clinton that was locked in the fucking attic.
Yeah, he was only in he's in stuff as like a small. Oh, in Spy Hard, he was Agent Clinton. That was such a stretch for him.
When he gets roles, does he go like, yeah, you know, my brother, he got to play the trumpet on Arsenio. Can I, I got the guitar. That's my thing. Can I play it or at least mention it?
Wait. That's what he opens up with. My brother not my brother was a president for 8 years. of America.
That's how he gets the job. My brother was on Arsenio Hall.
And also, it was the saxophone, not the trumpet, just to correct myself on that. Yeah, that you're right. That would be a weird thing to open with. I mean, it's better than saying Roger Clinton, brother of guy that was friends with Epstein.
Do you think he uses that? He's like, hey, I was also on that plane. And they're like, whoa, dude, no.
Oh, no.
Because he's probably used to riding Bill's coattails and he hasn't broken that habit.
Hey, bud, I was on there too. Don't forget me.
I feel like they don't talk. I'm just assuming they don't talk.
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Yeah. So he's just there. And the whole time you're just like, that's Bill Clinton's brother. What the fuck is he doing?
I don't know, he's just so ridiculous. He looks like a fucking 70s football player, this guy.
He's got Soul Glow hair and a fucking Trump suit, and they're like, yeah, just hand me my guitar. This isn't weird.
I feel like he should be selling me Bud Light.
Could you imagine being their dad? What do your sons do? Oh, well, one of them is the president of the United States.
And the other one was in Pumpkinhead 2.
And then Roger's in Pumpkinhead 2, Bloodwigs.
And Spy Hard.
But he played a mayor once.
So then he says some cryptic shit to the fucking sheriff about, this town. He's like, something about Pumpkinhead. I gotta go.
He's like, you wouldn't want your daughter getting fucked by the filth in this town.
Pumpkinhead. Goodbye. It's fucking sheriff is like, what? I wonder what he was trying to tell me.
I'm just going to remember conveniently in about a half an hour.
Yeah.
So we go to this fucking mine shaft, and these idiots are fucking drunkenly, hanging all over it. You skip school to fucking drink beer at an abandoned mine shaft.
What is up with this mine shaft?
I don't know.
When they showed this in the beginning of the movie, I did not realize this would be a central point to the film.
It's the only set they built, so they just kept using it.
There is a set, I want to say... it was used in Motel Hell. I was reading about it. I don't remember which part it is though. Anyway,
wow, they really got their money's worth.
Question mark.
But yeah, they're fucking around this mine shaft, and basically, long story short, her fucking dad shows up, and she's like, "Ah, shit, my dad." Oh yeah, and Danny, this guy Danny, who's the leader who was smoking a joint and invited her in. He's like, hey, if I swing across this mine shaft on this chain, will I get a kiss?
And he's like, how about I do with my eyes closed? And he jumps over, he swings over this fucking chasm, and then just fucking just starts eating Amy Dolenz' face off. And then Andrew Robinson pulls up and he's like, hey, can you stop fucking licking my daughter? Aren't you the judge's kid? And he's like, yeah, that's right. My name's Danny Dixon, sir. Your daughter, we were hanging out or whatever.
I wasn't sucking her face over a mine shaft.
I'm not like creepy Mark Wahlberg from Fear at all.
Well, then Braddock, he turns to his daughter and he says, come to daddy.
Oh, my goodness.
Look, I love Andrew Robinson, but I will say, the end of Hellraiser, he clearly wasn't on the same page with the other actor playing Frank.
No.
He plays Frank so... Not that I have a problem with it, it's great.
No.
But it's wow, you didn't even talk to that other actor, did you?
Did you watch the dailies? Okay. He's just like, I'm Frank, and I'm gonna fuck everything that moves. And then he's like, all right, who come to daddy now? I'm Uncle Frankie. So, fucking... Andrew Robinson takes Amy Dolenz, throws her in the car, and they fucking drive off. And then, it's just this fucking stinger, and all of a sudden it's nighttime, and the music decides to come back on.
And boy, the music in this movie is certainly music.
Yeah, and she goes to leave her house in the dark with the full moon out, and because essentially, on the way home, her father gives her a hard time. He's like, I don't want you hanging out with those people, and she kind of blows him off. And then just like, fuck you, Dad, and just sneaks off with them.
He's like, I don't want to have to move again if you fuck something up. If you release a demon from hell again.
So
again.
They definitely moved after this movie, right? I'm assuming it's another...
I don't know. They're like the town heroes now.
The drive out of the town is just quiet and everyone's staring out windows and he's like, I can't believe you did it again.
They're like the family that just has never left Camp Crystal Lake. They're still there. What are the odds that it's going to happen again?
Yeah.
It only happens once every year for 8 years.
Every 23rd spring for 23 days.
If it were that infrequent, you would have a reason to stay. Yeah, but they're like, she flees with these rebellious group of douchebags, and they're like, what'd you say to your dad? She's like, nothing, I snuck out.
She sneaks out with these fucking kids to go, I don't know what, joyride? One of the kids is like, yeah, man, let's go fucking cow tipping, dude. And the one chick's like, let's show her how we really have fun by going to some old lady's house.
Well, first it's, I'm gonna drive in this desolate highway without my lights on and no hands. It's like, who fucking gives a shit? But then he turns them on and he fucking just runs over this old lady from the beginning of the movie. And she seemingly is like, she's like, son of a bitch, I'm fine.
Oh, she's like a deer, man. She bounces right back.
Yeah.
She just runs off into the darkness.
Oh, yeah, she gets up and runs into the fucking woods.
She's fine. She's like, I can't stress it enough. It's nothing happened to her. She's totally fine.
She is completely cognitive and mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, we killed her. And I'm like, you killed her? She left.
She runs off into the night. And they're like, where did she go? She fucking disappeared. We gotta find her. And she's like, who was that? And he's like, nobody. And he's like, all right. It was this witch named Osie that lives in the woods. And like, fuck, man, we gotta like go to her house or some shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
And the entire time, Danny's just complaining that the front of his car's fucked up. Look what this bitch did to my car.
So she is like a deer. She fucking wrecks his car and then fucking gets up and vanishes into the woods.
Oh, yeah, man.
Just like a goddamn deer does.
Yeah. So, like you're saying, for some reason they go to the house, I guess just to be like, oh, are you okay so that you don't fucking sue us?
Yeah.
You want to go to the house just to check on her, to finish the job, right? That's what fucking Danny's thinking.
Right, yeah.
Well, yeah, Danny's like, I'm not getting, I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, Denim Danny over here. He's
Denim
like,
Danny.
we're putting her out of her misery.
The fucking dancer's gonna fucking stab this woman. So they go to the fucking old Hackmore place, and they're like banging on the door, and they're like, oh, hey, you home or whatever? I think we just hit you with our car.
Might have just ran you over.
And they just like walk into this woman's house and they find a bunch of magic shit.
Yeah.
Like generic magic shit.
Oh, before that, they go by the graveyard.
Oh, that's right.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Which they call Pet Cemetery.
I know!
TM.
I'm sitting there like about trying to get mad about that, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, you know what?
It kind of does.
It kind of does.
And then at some point, one of them picks something up and she's like, wow, it's like from the Book of Shadows. I'm like, that's why it's not in Blair Witch 2. It's been sitting in this fucking movie the whole time.
I think I just went blind.
Quick question. Who thought that this fucking like ritual dirt circle was creepier than a forest with like a tree of the dead in the middle of a fucking pumpkin patch?
No one.
Yeah, a pumpkin patch with an elevated patch where you're like, oh, that's definitely something important.
Yeah, that's where some bad shit lives, you know? Like,
No, they couldn't build that patch. I'm assuming.
But this woman, this old woman also has like a to scale model of the graveyard in her house.
Maybe she's remodeling it. She's gonna fix it.
she's expanding?
Yeah.
She's like, all right, and the other headstones are gonna go here, and I'm gonna put a mausoleum over here.
I'll move the little stone boundaries over this way a little more.
But like, yeah, it's weird that it's like, oh wow, there's my son. He's dead. He's right over there. But sometimes I don't want to walk to his grave, so I'm going to make a little diorama of his grave.
I'm too tired.
I could still view it then, at least.
When it snows, I can still mourn him as if I'm at his grave.
I don't want to leave my hut to walk 20 feet to the grave, but I'll walk a mile and a fucking half to cross the road and get hit by a fucking car.
Yeah, what was she
What was
doing?
she doing? Did she just go to the fucking 7-Eleven and get a Coke? Cigarettes or something? I just wanted to get my Winstons. I got fucking run over.
They never explain what she's doing. She's just out in the woods.
She's like Matilda from Rumpelstiltskin, eating fucking sausage out of a can and shit.
Yeah. I could see it. Cat food, probably.
Ew.
Yeah, but like in the middle of this model is like a little vial of blood, and Danny's like, I should steal this.
Well, not even that, but it's like they walk in trying to see if this woman's alive, and they just start like rummaging through all her shit, like eating her food out of her refrigerator.
Drinking her beer.
She does not have a refrigerator.
They take that like quote unquote Book of Shadows page, which is like just like some random like demonic gibberish written on a piece of paper.
Oh, it's the most hokiest horse shit you'll ever hear anyway.
Yeah, and then somebody's like, yeah, you know about Magic, Marcy, and she's like, this is a step above Ouija boards. I'm like, oh, so you don't know magic then?
Like at all.
If Ouija boards are where you're starting.
Yeah, if the Milton Bradley branded product toy that is sold as a parlor trick is your magic expertise, then you're fucking useless.
It was on sale at Spence's. So at one point, fucking Danny's like, look at this, man, cursed blood. And look at this, man, a fucking spell incantation that brings the dead back to life.
By the way, I was a warlock in high school.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
How does he know that?
I have no
Yeah.
idea. This is where shit gets super convoluted, right? Because it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, so you happenstance come across this shit, and now you want to use it because the whole reason they want to use this stuff to quote-unquote bring something back from the dead is because they're bored.
Yeah.
That's the plot.
They said they're thrill seekers, and I guess that's the most thrilling thing they could think of.
So yeah, they have to cross necromancy off their list.
Go big or go home, you know?
I love how Marcy's like, yeah, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do this. And then like proceeds to do it all. and then after it's all done, she's like, all right, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was gonna say, like, Danny, like, clubs her in the head with the flashlight. Like,
Oh my god.
Oh, it's right. Yeah, she comes back during this whole thing. She's like, hey, what are you doing in my house?
So here's the thing. You know, now you guys remember, everybody remembers Pumpkinhead and you guys just watched it, but like,
Yeah.
how fucking creepy is Haggis? She's like, oh, Ed Harley, you coming to fucking get the devil's vengeance?
Oh my god. It's one of the best parts of the movie, really.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the way she's always sitting away from him. She doesn't look at him. Like, she doesn't make eye contact. She's like staring at her fireplace, like, Pumpkinhead.
When he's all like, God damn you, and she's like, he's already has it, Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. And then,
It's fucking creepy, man.
and this one, the old lady's all like, you guys are gonna get killed by Pumpkinhead, maybe.
You hit me with your car, you fuck faces.
Pumpkinhead's coming back for reasons.
Grandma's tripping out on acid, it seems like.
Yeah, like, cause this is when Danny fucking mag lights her in the head.
Oh, he fucking KOs this old woman.
Yeah, and then doesn't she like fall over and knock over a candle, and then the house kind of,
No. She falls over and it takes her like 9 years to crawl over to a table and then knocks a candle over and lights herself
Right.
on fire. Like, these kids don't even do anything, really. I mean, besides punch her in the head.
How could you do this to me? I'm calling a demon.
These guys are assholes, but she kind of killed herself.
She kind of
Yeah.
killed herself. Like,
And honestly, like, as her house starts to burn down and they're digging up this plot, like, Jenny fucking, like, is like, oh, I'm done. And then she kind of goes back that way and sees the house on fire. And
Yeah.
instead of going in and possibly saving this woman, she, like, runs all the way back to the other people to get their, I guess, help.
first she just screams at the house.
Yeah.
Well, she's got to wait till they're done doing what they're doing, and then she'll go back over.
Don't stop burning. It's not working.
It's like just the blanket was on fire when she saw the fire, and by the time she got back, the whole place was fucking engulfed.
Yeah. And then she doesn't even die. The old lady,
No.
it still
No.
doesn't kill the old lady.
Only, you know what? Only because they complete this ritual is the only reason why OC doesn't die right here, right now.
But it doesn't fucking make any sense. They take this fucking quote-unquote cursed blood in this fucking piece of parchment, and then they fucking... How does he know that there's a fucking body there?
I don't know.
To
My
dig
favorite
up?
part about this is the POV shovel shot, because it's never used again in any way in the movie, and it's the weirdest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a fucking camera attached to the handle of a shovel as it's going into dirt and coming out. I'm like, that was a weird choice. It never happens again.
Do you know how long it takes to dig a 6-foot hole?
A while.
Dude,
A while.
a long time.
Like, try all fucking day. Now, this guy does it in like 15 minutes.
Unless you have like a tractor, like it's not.
Like a backhoe digging up this fucking coffin. So they
Yeah.
open it up and fucking Jason Voorhees is in there. And they stab him with a fucking pike and then lightning strikes him.
Tried to kill him, but I fucked up.
Yeah, fuck you, Jason.
Tommy Jarvis is there cowering.
Tommy walks up and he's like, oh, I'm at the wrong place. I'm sorry. About your business.
Oh, shit. I thought this was Camp Crystal. Oh, okay. Bye.
Far screen? Is this
Camp
far
Forest
screen? No, this is Fern Hollow, or whatever the hell they called it. We're the other town that changed their name because of our pumpkin demon reputation.
Oh, this is the place with pumpkin heads. Got it. I gotta go back to my hometown where the hockey mask guy is.
Used to be called Razorback Hollow. Now it's Ferrer Forest.
So yeah, the witch also has the Book of the Dead. And it's like this and like fucking what is it? Jason Goes to Hell. It's like, stop putting that thing in things, all right?
Yeah.
It was cute in Jason Goes to Hell. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she falls over and she's like, Kanda, and then just like,
You fucking beat me to it, dude. Because that's what happens right when these fuckers, they're just like, Kanda, and then fucking nothing happens. And they're like, what a crock of shit, man. Let's get out of here.
yeah, but then like old woman's like, I've burned my house down. I'm calling a monster on you.
Is that what happens?
I mean, that's how I took it.
Yeah.
I took it as she accidentally lit the house on fire. This model accidentally caught on fire, and then I don't know. It just took a little while for that fucking Pumpkinhead to kick in.
Yeah.
My thing is like, if did she have some kind of precognition that this poor deformed child was like? Did she look at him one day and go, you'd make a great Pumpkinhead?
Well, it gets explained later on. But yeah, in the beginning, she does the Pumpkinhead. She says something about Pumpkinhead before they even bring him back to life. So she was just planning ahead. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, this is a long game.
Like break glass in case of emergency kind of shit?
I guess.
Break glass in case need of Pumpkinhead.
Break for Pumpkinhead.
In case of vengeance, break glass. And you just fucking drop this blood on this fucking corpse. So she gets lit on fire, and I guess... I don't know what happens. Yeah, the thing lights up and ignites, and it's like, oh, okay, Pumpkinhead's back.
And then I guess you see him break out of the coffin.
Which is kind of cool. So, okay, so Stan Winston did the effects for the first film and directed it. So I just think that's a cool thing, only because we've done a gnome named Norm, and it was the same case, and the contrasting films there are just hilarious to me. So the thing here is like K&B is doing it, and they all worked for Stan too. So it's kind of like having Stan Winston do the effects for this.
Yeah,
sort of. Stan Winston Studios. I think Pumpkinhead looks pretty good in this. I thought it didn't look as good as watching it again. Like I thought it looked shittier, but it actually looks fine.
Well, lighting is a big thing. The first movie is much darker, so he just kind of like there's a mood to him. And in this one, they're just like every time he's there, put fucking strobes behind him and blast the audience with fucking light, and smoke and lightning and shit.
That's the weird thing, because like apparently the suit technically was better, but they lit it with these bright white lights that highlight everything. And it just looks so rubbery, and it's like, why did you film it like this? You could have filmed this so much better.
It's also got big, goofy hands.
Yeah. It's also curious to me, too, because like Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr. worked on the first suit. And Tom Woodruff was in the actual Pumpkinhead suit. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, why wouldn't you just use the same one again?
Maybe it got damaged or something, or rights got handed over to somebody else.
Yeah, they don't hold up over time. But plus,
no. I mean, like the same molds and shit.
Yeah, but they want to put their own stamp on it. Like, what you call it? Al Gillis and them, they did like the Alien vs. Predator movies. Yeah, K&B did Predators, and they did their own thing. And then the Predator, the main Predator in that, kind of looks like the Predator from Alien vs. Predator 2. So, they want their own kind of creative look. They don't want to like straight up, except for K&B, straight up copy the one Predator. But other than that, they want to have their own kind of style, which I get.
For sure. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like tomato. I really hate the design of the Predators in Alien vs. Predator.
Oh, the first one, yeah, that's terrible.
Fucking gigantic, like they're huge.
Oh my god, they're atrocious. And just the face looks like shit.
But I think Pumpkinhead looks fine in this. I just think they filmed it horribly.
Yeah. Here's my question, because I watched the first one a few months back. When Pumpkinhead shows up in the first one, is there this fucking like tornado effect that follows him like it does in this film?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not as shitty.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric and spooky. The thing about the first film, it's almost like it almost has like a haunted house quality to it, but like haunted woods.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the first one feels like a fairy tale. The first one feels very much like a campfire story or like a scary story.
Everything's very ethereal.
Yeah.
And this one is, what did you compare something to? It was like shotgunning a Red Bull and putting headphones in and listening to Megadeth.
Yeah. Shotgunning a Red Bull, putting headphones in, and putting those deprivation goggles on and just cranking like static in your ears.
That's what this is like in comparison, because the first one is relying a lot on like lighting and atmosphere and mood, and this one's just like blah.
The first one is very much there's a lot of visual storytelling too, and this one's just explaining everything you're seeing, and sometimes 3 times over.
Yeah.
Especially the end.
One of my favorite things about the first movie is that he tends to kill people just by scruffing them like a kitten. He's like, "You've been a bad cat," and he just picks them up by the back of the neck.
He does have some good kills in this. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I guess that was my whole point. The effects are way better than I remember them being, and Pumpkinhead specifically looks good. It's just, it's a matter of like the lighting and shit, like you were saying.
So the next morning,
Yeah. I fucking love this scene.
we have this fucking crime scene.
And this house is burned to the ground. There's nothing left.
How did this woman...
But you know what's not burnt? The horrifying scarecrow.
Yeah, well, I thought that was supposed to be Pumpkinhead for a hot second there. I had to fucking rewind the movie and make sure I wasn't missing something.
Yeah, that's like clearly like a dead body. I feel like the cops should look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's gone? They took her out of there?
Yeah.
They're just like, well, she went to the hospital because she's burned and was...
Well, I guess what? Pumpkinhead saved her? Is that the whole implication?
Like, this house burned down and collapsed on top of her, and then they're just like, well, she's fine. Bring her to the hospital.
Well, no, Pumpkinhead went in and got her out. That's the whole thing. Is they're like, we found these claw marks around the window, and somebody dragged her out of the building.
Yeah, because super detective sheriff man is like, this is an outside windowsill. Ooh, these claw marks. Somebody tried to get in. Thanks, Batman.
So does Pumpkinhead not have magic to heal her? Or
I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Did he drop her off at the fucking hospital?
Yeah.
Like, he just left her at the front door and rang the bell?
Someone dropped this old lady off. They signed in as P-Head.
Right next to her is a fucking an egg-shaped metal case.
While they're at the crime scene, Jenny and Danny and all them are back at this fucking mine shaft. And Danny is essentially like bullying everybody else into not saying anything. He's like, if you say something, it's, I'm gonna get you real good.
The entirety of this fucking dude's dialogue for the rest of the movie is, I'll take care of it, and shut the fuck up, you're not gonna say a word.
He's just like Dutch from Red Dead 2, but like without any money or like zero plan. Dutch had a plan or some kind of plan, I think, but it was all about him. This guy has like he doesn't even have that.
You guys just need a little bit of faith.
Okay, guys. The book for I Know What You Did Last Summer was written in 1973. So they definitely stole the plot to the I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I knew it was a book, and I just checked right now. I'm like, when did that book come out?
No shit.
And I'm like, 100% they read that book, and they were like, oh, I like this whole thing with the teens hitting someone.
Oh man, we gotta put a pin on that for CB.
Yeah, I gotta let him know.
So then we cut to the fucking police station, and Ernest comes back in, and he's like,
Oh my God.
He's like, "Oh, sheriff, can I get my money back for my hunting license?" And he's like, yeah, why? And he's like, man, cause I ain't gonna go hunting in them woods no more. The fucking Pumpkinhead's back.
We got ourselves a Pumpkinhead problem.
We got ourselves another Pumpkinhead problem. And he's just like, what? And the audience goes, what?
The sheriff, he's just like, can you elaborate? He's like, I'm some dumbass farmer. I wouldn't know. Ask the judge or the mayor.
Yeah, wink. I'm not the hunter anymore, man. I'm the hunted. Well, see you later.
Here's the thing, like, Pumpkinhead, although, he's one of the gang members, right?
Yes. The gang.
Okay, I was going to say, because in the first one, they established, like, Pumpkinhead will leave you alone unless you get in his way.
That's
Right.
a big problem.
So for a minute, I didn't know why he was, like, so scared. It's like, just don't...
Yeah, this is where the movie ultimately starts, for me anyway, to just like fall apart at the seams, because they introduce these, like I said, yokel side characters who, at surface level in first appearance, don't have any connection to the plot whatsoever. They just kind of come and go as they please. Because the movie doesn't make any attempt to do any kind of hard connections from the first 5 minutes to anything else until, like, I don't know, like an hour into the movie or something like that.
Yeah, way later.
He also makes a comment about how he saw this red car up there by OC's house because he was in the woods for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, I was walking through the woods and I seen the car there. It must have been a kid's. It was a Chevy red Cadillac, man.
I ain't never seen a red car before.
And then the fucking house was on fire, but I just turned the other way.
Ain't my problem, ain't my business.
Well, see ya.
Right.
Yeah, fuck it, Pumpkinhead's bag, bye.
I already helped murder one person, didn't want to be responsible for a second.
Right, but to Tony's point, like, Pumpkinhead is a vessel. He's not a cognitive...
Well, he is this time.
I know, it's so silly.
Exactly.
He's not supposed to be, I agree with you. But this time he is.
It's such a great point of the first film, like the catharsis of Ed Hartley and Pumpkinhead's like kindred symbiotic relationship, and like none of that's here, and it's just kind of shoehorned. They're like, oh yeah, well,
it's like they wanted their cake, and they wanted their cake and eat it too, because they wanted this whole storyline where he's coming back from like his own revenge, but then also the revenge of, well, this old woman being murdered. But it's like,
yes,
that should have just been two separate movies at that point.
Agreed.
Exactly. It could have been two different movies.
Oh man, my to-do list is just full of vengeance.
Totally. Well, he's a demon of vengeance, but he also wants his own revenge for his personal reasons. Okay.
I did read that the first movie originally was called Vengeance the Demon, and they thankfully went with Pumpkinhead. It's a terrible title.
I think that's what it's called in like Germany.
I mean, some would argue Pumpkinhead's not a better title.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
It's at least original, I suppose.
No, but at least but yeah, it jumps out in your head when someone says Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think of these movies and someone's like, yeah, first one, that movie is called The Demon, Vengeance.
Cool.
Kind of reminds me of like Texas Chainsaw was going to be called Head Cheese at one point.
Yeah, that was a working title.
Well, then we go to Danny fucking cleaning the blood off his car, and Andrew Robinson pulls up, and he's just like looking at it like, gotta be thinking in his head like, this dumb motherfucker, because he's already pegging this kid right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's pegging the kid. I mean, that's a little. I don't know what movie you watched. I think you might have taken a break and watched something else.
Yeah,
but,
no, maybe.
Come to daddy.
So, it's the sheriff. The sheriff reaches behind his head, undoes his zipper, and then it's Granny Van Dam. She's like, "Hello."
Oh God! She pulls it down, and he's like, I see you over there, boy, with your sexy red car.
Hello, I will tell when you ran someone over if you take off your clothes.
Let's make a deal, shall we?
She breaks out of his skin, and she's like in wheelchair.
She unzips, and the wheelchair's already there.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You got a handicap lift in the back of that Cadillac, or what? so the judge comes out. He's like, because the judge is Danny's dad, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, all right, is there a problem here, sheriff, or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I was just talking to your boy about some shit. And he's like, yeah, Dad, remember how I was home last night studying? Wink, wink. And he's like, yes,
Yeah, wink, wink.
And he's just like, yes, studying because you're a fucking straight A student. And he's like, oh, it's a nice car you got here. And the kid's like, yeah, man, it's probably like the only red car in like 50 counties.
Yeah, with blood on it and a dent. Yeah.
And a dent.
Yeah, where'd you get that dent from? I hit a dog.
That's a big dog.
What a piece of shit. That's what you go to? Well, I'm just thinking that this guy's like, well, if I say I hit a dog, no one will give a shit. It's just a dog. It's like, what? What is this guy talking about?
Not even like coyote, just like a straight up dog. It's like, oh, well.
Right, he's running over somebody's golden retriever. He's like, no big deal, it's just a dog.
Dude, he could have said anything. Like he bumped into, I don't know.
I turned my lights off while I was driving and hit something. Who would have thought?
I was joyriding and I fucking killed somebody. Well, not really. Well.
Nice dent in your car there, Danny. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that HPC we have over in the hospital over there, do you?
I did some things that may have led to somebody dying.
Officer, I was at home not raising the dead.
I didn't necromancy. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was actually praying to make sure that the dead stay not raised, officer. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me at all.
Isn't the tagline for this movie some things are left like dead enough alone or something like that. It's something really fucking cheesy.
Sometimes dead is better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, sometimes dead is better.
Then they go to the hospital, the sheriff and the coroner,
Ugh.
and this old lady's like in a full body cast in the hospital bed.
She's in full fucking Bugs Bunny cast, dude. Like from head to toe.
She looks like a Warner Brothers cartoon who has a toothache.
Well, then naturally the fucking wind kicks up, and that's just the signal for Pumpkinhead. And it's like to the point where it's like just blowing shit around inside this hospital room, and I don't think I see any windows open.
No, it's magic.
Someone's like, who turned the air on again?
And it's happening again.
Every time that Pumpkinhead kills somebody, she has like this psychic connection where she kind of gets like the monkey shines vision.
Yeah.
Where she can kind of see inside his head.
Why?
Because remember the first movie, Joe?
Yeah, exactly. Remember the first movie?
Remember that thing
Member
with
berries?
the pump? Yep, with the demon connection. Member berries.
Oh, I love they let her wear her little relic necklace in the hospital bed.
Yeah, and it's the same. It's like the same thing from the first one. He's like, that is such a powerful part of the first movie.
Yeah.
And like here, it's just like window dressing. Like, oh, yep, remember that? Yep.
Oh, they completely botched the supposed significance of it, like, right away.
Yeah, right. The symbolism of it is just like completely fucking wasted.
Like, they changed it so much that they didn't have to do this plot point.
No.
Like, they didn't have to do Pumpkinhead, because Pumpkinhead's not turning into her. Every time he kills, he doesn't look more and more like an old lady.
Right.
Like,
Right.
there's no reason for them to do this other than they did it in the first movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like the director was like, yeah, I remember that movie. Didn't that happen? Yeah, okay, put that in there.
Pumpkinhead 1, I saw it on a shelf at Blockbuster. Sure, I'll make your sequel.
I saw the cover once.
And like, I guess Pumpkinhead's just giving out gifts, man, because
Yeah.
we'll get to it.
Well, this guy, you see the granny from the hospital bed freaking out, and you cut the Pumpkinhead. And he's walking around, and he goes after Ernst first, and Ernst is like, "Oh fuck, I ain't going down without a fight."
Yeah.
And he runs into like I guess his meat locker / barn,
I guess.
and he's got he's got his shotgun, and he's like, I'll protect myself with this." And the second he sees Pumpkinhead, he's like literally shit his pants and is like fumbling his gun.
The monster. How does this fucking monster see anything?
It has the same vision as the werewolves from American Werewolf in Paris. Like,
Except red.
it's that same, it's that same stupid blurry filter where your depth of field is all jacked up.
Oh yeah, this guy gets it fucking bad.
All of these sequences where Pumpkinhead like makes an entrance are fucking cool.
Yeah, they are.
No bones about it. Like he busts into this fucking barn and just fucking ham slaps this guy across the face into
He seemingly every time Pumpkinhead enters the scene, he snaps into a Slim Jim. He's like, "Brah!" and just like bursts through a fucking door or a wall.
Oh yeah, man. He fucking shoots down a fucking Kool-Aid, comes right through that wall.
The only thing not cool about that scene is when he first like grabs the dude, like there's like a light above Pumpkinhead that just keeps hitting him in the head.
I know.
It's like, did no one like decide to like, maybe like shoot this again, move him over a couple feet?
Yeah.
Also, because this suit has these gigantic, funny fucking hands, every time it goes to grab somebody, they linger on it just long enough for you to go, "Oh, the magic is ruined," because like these things clearly can't grip anything.
Yeah.
But it just like it just lays its paws on people's shoulders and they cut and he's being thrown. Like,
Oh, that ruined the magic, not the obvious wire that's hoisting the guy up in the air. That didn't ruin the magic for you. Because that took me out of the movie.
You know what really fucked me up personally? Like I know where the eye holes are on this thing, and like
Yeah.
they're so gaping in this film. I'm just like, oh man, there they are. What are those two giant vents underneath this thing's head in its neck?
They are huge. They are gigantic.
it's like seeing that tiny man in Donatello's mouth.
Yeah.
So he throws this guy across the room, and he gets like his ass stuck up a fucking meat hook or something.
Or something, yeah.
And like that wasn't enough. Like this guy really needs to die brutally. So Pumpkinhead just like slashes at him until all his arms and legs fall off, and then just eviscerates him.
This guy gets it the worst out of all of these guys, and I think like he
Yeah.
has the littlest to do with the with the murder of this guy.
Yeah, he was the guy like holding the car, smoking a cigarette while they
Yeah.
did what they were doing.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
They come back. He's like, "Oh, how'd it go? Oh, no, don't worry about it. Oh, all right."
Did you guys notice this guy had every single wind chime and wind ornament in the world?
And we kept cutting back to it.
They kept doing close-ups to every wind chime and wind ornament ever. I'm like, why did he have so many? Why does he have one inside the barn?
And didn't he have one that was just pigs? Like, it was just little pigs?
Yeah.
Because it had to signify that Pumpkinhead was there. He brings that fucking gale force with him.
Is that his Pumpkinhead, like, alert system?
Yeah,
Like,
right?
He's inside the barn. Oh, shit.
All the chimes in my entire barn rang at the same time.
Oh, no, it's Job.
Oh, my God. There's a fucking... That's terrifying.
My battle cry will be ringing every wind chime on the planet Earth.
That's Pumpkinhead's fucking war cry.
Yeah. Before he goes into cyber Farron Woods, whatever the fuck.
And I have to say, like, we go to another, like, next day crime scene, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, Pumpkinhead, for, like, a solid week is terrorizing this town. And he just, like, he kills someone at night, next morning. Kills someone at night, next morning.
Does he take a nap?
And the next morning shots are always, like, someone with their hands, like, all the way up, like full, like, pressed against their ribs, like almost on their waist. They're like, ain't that a thing?
Does he like go take a nap in the mine or some shit?
Right, yeah.
I don't know what he does, but then I know he leaves some artwork up. He leaves like the blood wings at the crime scene.
He draws the fucking Chrysler sign on the wall and he's like, there you go.
Yeah. And they're like, oh.
He draws a little bird. He's like, ee.
What does this mean?
Well, Andrew Robinson sees it twice and is like, I know what those are. They're blood wings.
Yeah.
TM.
But before that, he's like, look at this unusual blood splatter. It's like, yeah, that's not a blood splatter, asshole. Like, that's clearly deliberate. I'm not even a forensic guy, and I know that.
How the fuck do you figure out that windowsill thing, but you think that's spatter?
I just imagine fucking Pumpkinhead standing there with a stencil and just like spraying the blood onto it and just like, making sure if it looks right.
He's got a little mask on.
Judge Dixon walks in and he's like, it must have been a fucking cougar. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what it was. Ripped this man's extremities off.
Yeah, they came down from the mountains that I see all over your town.
Yeah, the cougars. They're known for hanging people up on hooks.
And ripping their arms and legs off.
And then not eating them, and then drawing on the walls and leaving. Classic cougar behavior.
He makes a comment like, yeah, the fucking cougar got in and stole somebody's chicken. And I'm like, this is not even close to that.
No.
And then of course the nerd, the doctor's there, who apparently I guess is CSI in this town.
I love how the doctor's like, yeah, these are weird claw marks. It was made by nothing known to man.
Right.
Because no animals known to man have claws.
So it must be Pumpkinhead.
Well, because she takes the pictures and they're back at the sheriff's house afterwards.
Okay, this is one of my favorite scenes because, like, it's clearly breakfast time or something like that, and this woman walks up, she's like, anyway, here's my autopsy report on the table, like...
Well, yeah, she's talking about the claws, and then Jenny overhears this because they're talking about how it's connected to the fire at the old woman's house, and she hears it, and she, like, is like, and drops a plate, like, over dramatically.
Where my favorite part about the scene is when it opens up, it's like, the cop and the doctor are talking, and the wife is in the background, out of focus. And it's like, why? Why is she in the movie? There's no reason for her to be here.
Food's done.
She's washing dishes. She's quietly eating her supper while these fucking people are like, it was a demon from hell.
while this guy and his, like, what is clearly someone he's fucking on the side are just in the house.
Oh my goodness.
Don't worry, honey. We got to talk about this murder that happened. Just finish making our dinner.
Why don't you go take your eggs and sit in the fucking den?
And this is when this CSI woman basically explains Pumpkinhead, like how he works.
Yeah, and then it's not what actually happens in the movie.
Right. No, not at all.
She's like, yeah, I heard when somebody does something bad to you, you can conjure up Pumpkinhead and he'll kill them all, but you're damned forever.
You call 1-800-Pumpkinhead.
Just say his name 3 times.
Isn't this also the nursery rhyme that the sheriff says?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you want to talk about fucking dumb?
That the sheriff just is like, oh yeah, now that you mention it,
Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, but remember in the first movie when the little kids do it to that little boy and they're like, Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 and they're like saying the whole thing. This close-up on Andrew Robinson, like, saying this nursery rhyme is probably one of the stupidest things in the movie.
Yeah, it's like way over the top.
I'm not sure if we passed over it yet, but like there's a scene, I think it's early in the movie, where Jenny and her dad or the sheriff are in the car talking, and they keep doing like shot, reverse shot. But there's also a rear view mirror that keeps like reflecting the other person in the conversation, but the mirror keeps shifting positions, like to show. I'm like, rear view mirrors don't work like that.
They tried to be like fancy with some of the shots and some of the edits. I mean, they tried. I'll give them credit. They tried.
Thanks for your cinematography, Bill Dill. Yeah.
Here's your cookie, Jeff Burr.
No, the cinematographer's name is William Dill. I see what they were trying to do there, but like, you can't keep cutting back and forth. It's like one, you do it from one angle, right?
Yeah.
And it'll work and it'll look cool, but the way that it's all fucking cut up is garbage.
Oh, yeah. And then we get this dream sequence that Jenny has because she's starting to freak out about everything.
What the fuck was this?
Oh, it's so funny. I couldn't stop laughing at that. 'Cause her like fantasy is making out with the guy in a bed in the woods.
In the middle of the woods.
And then he just starts fucking her.
And then she wakes up still in the bed in the woods. It's not even a cool reveal like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Right.
Like as soon as it cuts, you could just see the woods in the back, and you're like, oh, she's still dreaming.
Yeah.
I wonder if a Pumpkinhead will show up. Oh, look.
And then she like wakes up, and then it shows Pumpkinhead outside. And for a minute, I thought it was going to be a third like dream of the
I know. Now that was the fuck you to the audience, that particular cut.
It cuts right from the dream sequence from Pumpkinhead to real Pumpkinhead, real time walking through the woods.
Yeah, looking for Linnea Quigley.
Linnea Quigley is fucking Leatherface in a barn.
Yeah, that's Leatherface from 3, isn't that what you were saying?
Yeah, it's Leatherface and Linnea Quigley.
Yeah, R.A. Miyahov.
And he's like, oh yeah, my wife always says you can't teach an old dog a new trick.
Yeah, well, what trick were you learning? Like, what the?
I could drink a beer laying down, motherfuck.
I call this one the dead fish.
I've ever seen like Linnea Quigley's name in the credits. I'm like, I don't remember her in this movie, and then I saw Naked Girl, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Linnea Quigley. There she is.
I didn't know it was her until this very moment when you guys started talking about it.
Yeah, it's Linnea Quigley.
She should have had a bigger part in this, I feel like.
They had her for a weekend. They were like,
Linnea, come be in Pumpkinhead. Bring your boobs.
She's like, all right, that's all I've ever asked to bring.
Unfortunately.
So, like, she wants, like, a cigarette, so he's like, threw her in the car. So she goes and gets them, and then Pumpkinhead fucking kicks down the door to this barn, and this fucking country rock starts playing?
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Pumpkinhead cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, runs in and starts fucking pro wrestling this dude.
He does like a backbreaker.
It's like Bane to Batman.
Fucking picks him up and gives him like a full-on Bret Hart snap backbreaker and throws him through a fucking door.
This is my favorite scene of the whole fucking movie, because he's just like smacking this fucking dude around to like this country rock song.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's great.
It sounds like a discount Dolly Parton song, and it's just over this like this giant fucking 7-foot demon who's just like I said, pro wrestling this redneck.
He picks him up and backbreaks him.
Yeah, we're not exaggerating. It's just straight up wrestling backbreaker. And Pumpkinhead's like, I was wondering what would bring out first, you're a spirit or you're a bobber.
I love Pumpkinhead like standing in the doorway, like clearly not trying to hit his head on the door frame because he's too big. Like he's trying to like walk through the door, but you could tell the actor had a little bit of a problem, so he just stood there.
Yeah, like the stilts were too much, and he's like, should I go or okay?
And then he draws more blood wings because I guess they didn't get the point the last time.
Yeah.
He draws a shit ton of them.
Just leaving breadcrumbs for Andrew Robinson, I guess?
Yeah.
I guess, right? Well, this is when Andrew Robinson, he's there with this coroner again, going over the crime scene, and he finds this fucking lockbox key in this guy's, on his desk. This guy's supposed to be like the postman or some shit for the town.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he's talking to his partner, if you even want to call her that, and then Linnea Quigley runs out, like, screaming, like, ah! And he's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? And it's like, oh, she's comatose from this.
No, they fucking sit there and narrate the scene. She, like, comes out, and Delilah's like, oh, she must be so scared that she can't talk because of the events that happened last night when Pumpkinhead came and killed that guy.
Exactly.
And she says that she's literally almost scared to death.
Yeah, exactly. Like like she's narrating her fucking.
The doctor reaches in her back pocket and pulls out her script. She's like, yeah, and then Pumpkinhead walked in. She's like, and beat him for the WF championship.
Yeah, just real quick about that lockbox key. Robinson pulls that out of nowhere, and it's just like, look at this. Must be a lockbox key. I'm gonna put that in my pocket.
Yeah, he Fonzie's the guy's desk, and it just pops out of a drawer.
Yeah.
He's like, aha. It's like, you didn't really actually look for that. You just kind of rummaged around for 5 seconds and struck gold.
Yeah, it was like a point and click adventure. You just click on shit until you find something important.
The next scene is probably my favorite.
Oh God, go ahead.
With the sheriff gets out of his car, and then two old ladies who were clearly never acted before. They're like, Sheriff, I heard it was a monster. What are you gonna do about it?
Are you gonna catch the Pumpkinhead?
Yeah, the sheriff's just like, Andrew Robinson's like, I am not acting with these people. It's awesome.
Is it a demon or whatever? And Andrew Robinson's like, don't worry, ma'am. Yes, we'll get him.
They went to the same acting school as fucking James Franco's butler in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I saw your dad die. It wasn't the Spider-Man. Or something.
Are you sure?
Well, as he's walking up, too, we get these fucking cavalry, the judge's boys, there with all their weaponry.
The posse?
Yeah.
The old posse.
Yeah, the judge needs a posse.
And the sheriff's not too thrilled.
Because there's no police force, apparently.
It's just the sheriff. He has no deputies.
Yeah, what is up? This town isn't that small.
Call the police. I am the police.
He should at least have, the bumbling idiot who gets killed because he does something noble, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Non-existent.
And it's not like he really fills those shoes either. He's pretty competent throughout the entire film. So he goes in and the judge is in there, sitting pretty, got his feet up, yeah, did you meet my friends outside? And he's like, listen, judge, we're gonna do this my way or this isn't gonna work. And the judge tries to give him shit, you don't know this town. He's like, you don't know what you're doing. And Andrew Robinson's just like, okay, what's your fucking point, pal? What are you getting at?
I love how everyone's like, well, it couldn't have been a bear or something. It's Pumpkinhead. Must be Pumpkinhead.
It can't be a murderer.
No.
It has to be Pumpkinhead.
It can't be a murder in this town full of extremely shady characters who all clearly have political connections and have are steeped in corruption. No, it couldn't possibly be anyone trying to cover up evidence or something.
Every white male in this town is either a rapist, a killer, or both.
Yeah,
Exactly.
All of them.
Our introduction to this town was 6 kids beating a mentally challenged deformed kid to death.
Yeah.
Right. No mercy.
You think that was John Hurt? John Hurt origins, man.
Oh man, could be. We go to this lake, this makeout point, and I don't think Jenny's too into Danny anymore. Danny, Danny keeps saying, we can't tell anybody about this. We can, if they find out, we're gonna go to jail.
I'll take care of you. I mean, that's literally every scene of them for the rest of the movie.
That really is.
Yeah, right. It doesn't change.
It really is. I was going to even make a point, I don't even want to talk about Amy Dolan's in them until the end again, because every time we come back, he's just like, oh, yeah, everything's going to be fine. Don't fucking say anything.
My dad's a judge.
Okay.
I guess because the guy in the first movie had a record and he couldn't go back to jail. But so they're doing that again, and it's yeah, but who the hell cares?
It's also there's the same solution that I brought up while watching the first movie. It's there are more of you than there are of him. Just kick his ass.
Yeah.
Well, at least in this one, the first one, that guy that goes off the handle, I don't know, I wouldn't fuck with that guy. But this guy, they're all kind of agreeing with him up until the point where he threatens them,
yeah,
towards the end. Up until that point, though, they're all yeah, we don't want anyone to find out. We got to go check the grave to make sure that Pumpkinhead's still in there.
Dude, that whole last scene is verbatim the first movie, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
But right now we go to the safety deposit box.
Yeah, please, let's skip to that.
The mailman has a collection of clippings about the death of Tommy.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was very nostalgic over that. Maybe it was to blackmail. Well, no, because it's not evidence.
No,
It's
right.
just
Like,
newspaper clippings. But like,
do you think he like goes and like reminisces about it and like gets off on it? Like, yeah, remember that time I killed that fucking kid?
He probably does.
there's a huge mistake in this scene. They accidentally put the sheriff's wife in the scene and not the person who actually matters to the plot, which is the doctor.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
That's right.
They fucking blew it.
The wife is in the scene. It's like, why does she give a shit about any of this? Like, why is the other girl in this scene?
She opens her mouth and everyone in the room is like, "Who are you?"
Well, you know what? They realized the wife hadn't done or said anything of importance yet in the film, so they had to give her this little nugget where she's like pointing out to her husband, "Hey, don't you think it's a little odd that he has this newspaper clipping?" And then he's like, "You know what? You got a good point."
What do you think, audience?
She would have been better off if she was like, "You're not taking me to the city, so I'm divorcing you," like Lawnmower Man, and she just fucking gets up and leaves the movie.
Oh my god. I was fucking thinking that the entire time, that this was just Lawnmower Man all over again.
He gets straight up Dr. Angelo'd.
You don't take me to the city, I quit.
Except he's not handsome working out every 5 minutes drinking fucking Bushmills.
True.
Yeah, smoking a cigarette in his basement in his hammock.
But yeah, in this scene, you find out that the sheriff was friends with the boy. Well, not friends.
Yeah.
Like he left a toy by the mine shed or whatever. Because
Why does everybody go to the mine shaft?
Because everyone like hangs out at the mine shaft. It's the greatest place in the world, and he saw.
You want to hang out at the Sarlacc pit today? I guess so.
Yeah, basically.
And he sees Tommy hanging out, and then he saves Tommy. Tommy like falls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he takes away Tommy's Batman moment.
Why do we fall, Tommy? So greasers and varsity jackets can beat you to death.
He's like, I left a toy at the mine, and I went back, and Tommy was fucking playing with it. And then he almost fell in. And then I grabbed him, a little 7-year-old, and I pulled this man out of this hole, and I saved his life. And then we were friends ever since.
And that's why Jason didn't kill me.
I don't even think they were friends.
No, but he thinks he is.
They were like, they met in this one instance. Fucking, you know, Braddock did a nice thing. He was a human being to another human being, you know, saved a life. And that's it. But like, this is really just in the film so that, like, at the end there, he could be like, remember me? I helped you the one time, like, 30 years ago.
Don't kill Amy Dolan's, please. Remember, I did you a solid back in 1957.
Yeah. We moved away and I never saw him again, and now I find out he was murdered?
You owe me for that one time 35 years ago.
So after that whole exchange, Delilah shows back up and she's like, "Get out of here, wife! You're not part of this fucking story."
She kicks her out of the movie.
She's like, "Okay, bye.
Go home.
Go home. Goodbye, Joe."
She's like, I have Tommy's DNA test.
She's like, "Yeah, so I analyzed the blood samples, and they're all type O except one. And guess what? It's not human, it's not animal, it's Pumpkinhead."
Right.
And then Bill Clinton's brother shows up.
Without missing a fucking beat, Roger Clinton kicks down the door and he's like, "I got a proposition for y'all." Even though Peoples is dying, you ever hear about the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot? Like, people pay for that shit.
I wrote a song about him. I'm going to sing it right now for you.
He's like the reverse mayor from Jaws. Like,
Right, yeah.
Basically.
yeah. Where the mayor in Jaws is like, don't tell anyone about the shark. This one's like, tell everyone about Pumpkinhead.
Bring it.
But he's also like the Heck Tate from the Tom Jane Punisher movie who shows up just to sing a song about murdering Frank, and then he's like, "Goodbye."
Oh,
now."
right.
Whereas this one's like, "I'm never going to play this guitar, and you're going to wonder why I haven't."
I do play it eventually.
I can hear what you're thinking.
Are they going to put Pumpkinhead, like, behind glass at the zoo or something? I'm like, yeah, every 27 years someone wants some vengeance, and he comes back and he fucking murders them.
Story goes, if you just pour some shit on him and say some mumbo jumbo, he'll be back.
Woody Harrelson's is the guide at the fucking exhibit.
Oh, man.
No one would want to visit for this monster. Like Loch Ness, it's like, oh, if I look at the water, I'll see a head pop up, or Bigfoot, I'll see this ape man walking around, but it's like, yeah, there's this demon and he'll savagely rip you apart. It's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there just to be safe.
The legend has it anyway, fuckface.
It's like, what happens when you go to see it? It's like, well, it's already, taking care of its own vengeance. So if someone said vengeance against you and you're within vicinity of it, it might rip your head off. It's not a guaranteed thing.
Okay, so when Pumpkinhead fulfills his own vengeance, that's it.
Is he like Meeseeks? Does he just disappear?
No, he becomes vulnerable to bullets is what happens.
Oh, okay. So he's like, it's like the Rune Stone then. He's like Fenrir.
Right. Yeah, well, kind of. I think they're like cousins, right? Yeah.
There's like a sign at the front of this zoo. It says like if you are potentially a revenge like victim or something like that, please do not enter zoo.
You're right, yeah.
If you've wronged people in the past.
If you've killed someone's child, don't come here by accident with a dirt pipe.
Yeah, seriously.
If you accidentally lit an old lady's house on fire.
It's like a height requirement sign, but it says like, if you may have been revenged, please leave.
Comes with a heavy price, Ed Harley. Come see the Pumpkinhead.
We then go to this was fucking bizarre. A cockfighting ring?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then Kane Hodder's there fucking playing with his cocks.
He just walks in. He's like, hello, I'm Kane Hodder. I'm here now.
He doesn't even have an accent.
And they're all like, yeah, this chicken died nasty, huh? And it's like heads fucking like spasming. I'm like, oh my, okay, these people are assholes. I get it. Like, did they need to be that much of an asshole?
We just saw them brutally murder some kid in the beginning of the movie. And he's like, yeah, I do cockfighting, derf.
And abusing their fucking sister, I guess?
Sexually abusing their sister.
Well, the one is abusing her, is beating her up, and then Kane Hodder's like, hey, don't do that to her. And he's like, well, you're sleeping with her.
Right.
And the girl's like mute and deaf, and it's like, wow, this town needs more Pumpkinheads.
That town needs a fucking bomb dropped on it.
Pumpkinhead for mayor, dude.
He's got more of a fucking moral compass than these asshole dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking A. He should get a pin and a hat and everything and a sash.
Could you imagine Pumpkinhead running against Roger Clinton? For mayor?
Roger Clinton gets up there and does like a whole speech, and Pumpkinhead just leads at his podium and goes like...
And just rips people's heads off?
And there's just that famous picture of Pumpkinhead holding up a newspaper saying Clinton's done it.
I'm just thinking, like, Pumpkinhead would probably have an easy time running because the Clintons are probably involved in some shady stuff. Pumpkinhead's
sure.
like, look, I only ever killed people who did things that were wrong, or else I wouldn't be here.
Right.
Who deserved
it, yeah.
It's in your best interest to not run against me, period.
So Pumpkinhead, he comes up to these, they're brothers, these two brothers that run this cockfighting ring. And there's actually three of them. And the first one gets it the worst.
Hold on. When Pumpkinhead shows up, it's the... Okay, so up until now, Pumpkinhead's just like kicked down doors and shit.
Yeah,
and they were
right.
like, okay, we're going to do this one outside. So now I'm thinking to myself, like, since there's no fucking door to kick down... We're going to just blow up some lights?
It's pyro.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Is that what we're doing here?
That was his calling card for this kill.
I fucking love this kill because he grabs this dude and throws him into a fucking chicken coop head first, and then these fucking chickens peck his eyes out?
Dude, they're getting their revenge.
I hate that scene.
Because why?
Oh, sorry, I forgot what show it was on. All right, so this is a running gag on Rental Reviews. I can't stand eye stabbings in movies.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
because I had a fear of eye stabbings since Demolition Man, when Wesley Snipes has the eyeball in the needle.
Yes.
And then a few years ago, I stabbed my eyeball, and for a year it didn't heal.
Oh my
So
God.
the solution was a surgery where they had to stab it more with needles to fix it. So I can't stand eye gouging or stabbing in any movie.
Okay.
So I guess you can't sit through Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2 then.
Nope, I'm good. I'm good.
The close-up eye impalement.
Just makes me think that there was some eye impalement shit in Dead Space 2 right in the beginning. There.
Yeah, I'm aware. See, here's the thing. Fans of the show, they send me GIFs and pictures and stuff
man.
from video games and movies
man.
non-stop. Like, I'm afraid to open up Twitter or my DMs every once in a
man.
while because it's always eye-stabbing gifs.
I had no idea. Now, like, that cake made so much more sense.
Oh, yeah, the one episode where they made it stabbing eyeball cake? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I
amazing.
was like, oh, I don't really get it. And then, oh my goodness, now it's fucked up.
Wait, but I love that the chickens go right for the eyes. Like, they're not even like...
Oh yeah, no bones about it at all.
Also, they're the worst They look like they took rubber chickens and glued feathers to them.
And it holds on this fucking guy and he's just like, ow. And you hear the fucking pecking of his face.
Oh man, it's brutal.
I laughed out loud. It was great. Loved it.
I don't know. I'm on Team Chicken in this position.
Yeah, no, me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And then the other two just kind of just get killed like by just slashing. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, there's no blood or anything. That one was kind of weak.
Kane Hodder gets fucking stomped.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd expect more. Like, his death scene in Wishmaster was really epic. I wanted something like that.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's just so bizarre because, like, dude in the barn
Yeah,
gets...
he gets ripped apart piece by piece.
Yeah.
And in this, they're just like, I'm going to just smack you to death. All right, moving on.
Then we get another morning fucking, crime scene. And this is when the sheriff finally starts putting it together like, wait a minute, maybe all these murders are connected.
Maybe it isn't a cougar.
What if it didn't mean Bloodwing? What if it meant Red Wing? Does that mean anything to you?
Now that we're talking about this fucking movie takes place over like a week.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It takes a long-ass time. This isn't like a couple nights.
No, but like the first one is one night.
Yeah.
Right. Well, isn't that kind of part of the whole thing?
Yeah, but like this doesn't make any sense because again, like Pumpkinhead just keeps going. Like as soon as he kills somebody, he's on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like again, like what is he doing?
Also, where does he go during the day?
You would
Like,
think. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is he doing in between? Is he kicking it up, drinking a Mai Tai?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he's fucking kicking it, drinking a Mai Tai with Corpse Fucker, dude.
Yeah.
He's practicing his art. I don't know.
He's learning piano in the daytime.
Maybe he's visiting his mom at the hospital.
Oh yeah, he's bringing her flowers and shit.
Have you seen a giant demon monster? It's like, oh yeah, he brought that lady flowers early.
He's signed in. They just look at it and it's all like demonic runes.
It's just like a bloody handprint.
he just shows up in like a trench coat and a hat.
Look like a big pumpkin head in a trench coat.
You're going to LaGuardia, right?
You're going to Ferrin Woods, right? We like cut back. We have like a Sheriff Brody moment here.
Yeah.
Because you know how it was subtle in Jaws where he's like he's like looking at the shark books and stuff, and then
Yeah.
his wife comes
Oh
in.
my God.
In this Robinson's like, well, according to folklore, if a demon, a retarded baby turns into a hellspawn, and if a woman fucks that thing, they get a pumpkin head. Or whatever. That's the fucking lore of this movie.
Yeah.
Exposited in like a throwaway scene when his wife comes in and she's like, hey, what does she even say to him?
She's like, hey, your daughter's sweater smells like smoke.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, God damn, I guess she was there.
Yeah.
No other explanation possible.
Couldn't been cigarettes or weed.
5 days later, too, it seems like. Someone's like,
I was doing the laundry 6 days later.
Yeah, and then I guess they go to the hospital
Yeah.
with the old lady, and then she starts talking in magic.
Oh, she fucking straight up dies first, and then there's just like, well, she's gone.
Yeah.
And then she leaves.
She sits up like the Undertaker.
I love that she dies first because it has no significance. Like she dies first, comes back, and then dies again. I'm like, why didn't you just talk and then have her die? What was the significance of her dying?
She comes back, and then she's talking about her son, and then she's like, his papa. And they're like, who was his papa? And she's like, his papa was Pumpkinhead. So this is actually...
At this point, I was so fucking lost and confused. I was like, what the fuck do you mean?
So Pumpkinhead in this is actually the son of Pumpkinhead.
Oh man, son of Pumpkinhead.
Like, when did this, like, Ed Harley's son, Pumpkinhead, fuck somebody in that first movie? When did he have time to do that?
No, because that first movie was like in the 80s. And at some point, someone... You know what?
It was the Pumpkinhead before that.
I'm putting way too much thought into this. So you know how Pumpkinhead was going to turn into Ed Harley?
Right.
So maybe there's other Pumpkinheads that actually finished the job and then turned into that person.
Okay, like other timelines.
Yeah, well, just maybe Pumpkinhead is just like a name they give to certain demons, but there's
Okay,
only ever
okay.
one of them at any time. So maybe there was a Pumpkinhead who finished the job, turned into the person, the other person became the next Pumpkinhead, and then he went around fucking witches in the woods, and then he had a pumpkin baby.
Okay. I mean, it's possible.
I put way more thought into it than this movie did.
Hey, welcome to Movie Dumpster, Tony.
I mean, that's not as fun as imagining a witch, like, getting plowed by a big demon.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like, with D&D. I think about how a half orc is made. Just
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah.
getting fucked by an orc, and I don't think it's gonna be a pleasant experience.
You know what's fucked up? There is a porn out there's a porn out there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Pumpkinhead plowing a fucking witch.
I'm sure there is, but I'm not gonna look for it.
So that's the only explanation I could give to why she fucked Pumpkinhead and had a weird demon offspring baby.
Well, I didn't realize she was his mom because she's like, I claimed him.
I assume she slept with Pumpkin. I don't know.
But she clearly states that Pumpkinhead is his dad, but she says, I claimed him.
Well, she's like, the mother was unimportant, so at the very least, it might be like a grandson kind of situation.
Okay, so someone slept with Pumpkinhead, though.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
Somebody got fucked by the pump.
Yeah, someone got fucked by the
Somebody
pump.
got pumped by Pumpkinhead. You got rumped by Pump.
And then she dies again.
So then they get an autopsy report or some shit of Tommy from when he died, and they find out, well, he was actually murdered. He didn't just fall down that well and kill himself.
How do you not come up with that solution immediately? Like, all these knife wounds aren't suspicious whatsoever.
Yeah, he hung himself and stabbed himself, but then got rid of the knife as he was hanging himself.
Yeah, and he beat himself with a fucking bat, too. Real quick, OC gives Andrew Robinson the fucking
Oh yeah,
necklace, the little doll.
the totem, if
Yeah,
you
the
will.
totem, yeah. She's like, this is the only way you can beat him. Punish.
Wait, why is she trying to help him? Why does she...
I don't know.
Doesn't she want them all dead?
Because you know what, Tony? She was kind of like off in the distance in the woods watching when Tommy fell in that mine, and she was gonna help him, but then she saw little Braddock run up there, and she said, you know what? I'll remember this for when I die in a hospital in 30 years.
I'll back pocket this.
Yeah, who the hell knows? Yeah, you're right. Like, why is she helping them? Just because?
Well, there you go. Why is she helping them? And then it comes to the point, well, again, Pumpkinhead is of his own volition in this film, and it's just fucking weird because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, and she kind of says in her warning as she's like in this trance after she's like brought back for this hot second about how, well, when it finishes its current revenge, it's going to go after the kids. And then they're like, oh, fuck. And then it cuts to...
because it burned me in my house.
Right, and then the sheriff and the coroner, they go to this, like, I guess library or some bullshit. And they're like looking through like old records, trying to figure out, we got to find out who these Red Wings are.
Yeah. Who are these Blood Wings, TM? I don't know.
And like the gang has a picture in the yearbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a car club, we find out. How fucking stupid is that?
By the way, I thought this entire reveal was the fucking stupidest thing ever. Like, the reason why this supernatural entity of vengeance personified is like, I remember your varsity jackets.
Yeah. Well, the thing that gets me is when you look at their picture in the yearbook, right below everything, there's a short summary and says, hey, we killed that guy Tommy and we got away with it. Happy New Year.
Red Wings.
It's a 1983 picture of the Dolphins team before Ray Finkel gets kicked
Yeah,
off the team.
exactly. But they deduce that the only guy left is the judge, and you find out that the judge was like the main guy who like fucked up Tommy before he was hung in the beginning.
He stabbed the shit out of him. That's the asshole, and who fucking stabbed him and was like, drop him. Put him in the fucking mine shaft.
Yeah, and this guy's been a judge for the last 30 years. Think about that. He definitely did some fucked up shit to the people of this town.
Oh, yeah.
He was a judge at 20 years old. That's amazing.
Right out of high school.
Well, maybe not for the last 30, maybe the last 20.
And he raised like a real shitty, like the kid shows up with like beer and he's like, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I already got you fully stocked over in the cabin.
Here, it's like, oh, I got you already fully stocked in the fucking set from the first movie. It's over there. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. So that's pretty much the rest of the film. I mean, like, they Andrew Robinson puts it together. He's like, the Red Wings, it's the people from the Auto Club. It's all the people he's been killing. And then we just wrap it the fuck up. Pumpkinhead comes and fucking paints a bunch of Red Wings all over the Dixon's like house.
Yeah, how long was he doing that?
Yeah.
That must have taken
I don't know.
a while.
Because Dixon, he calls in those good old boys for backup because now he's really afraid that everyone's dead, which is important for later.
It takes him the rest of the movie to get there.
Yokels assemble.
And then, like you said, his son is doing the whole, like, you better not tell anyone thing for, like, the millionth goddamn time.
Yeah, and then he has a gun.
Yeah.
It's verbatim from the
Yeah,
first
he's like,
film.
remember the first one?
Let's get on the couch. Remember the first movie? I'll shoot you.
Of course, Dixon, he leaves the room and finds like these fucking 400 Red Wings painted on his wall. And Pumpkinhead, again, because now he's indoors, just kicks down a door and approaches him.
He loves it.
And it's cool, but like, I was so upset that like we don't get a good kill for this guy.
Dude, it's off screen.
It just cuts away.
He should have been the most violent death.
Again, the first guy who gets killed gets it the worst out of everybody.
Yeah, and that almost got that movie in NC-17. That's how bad that one was.
Oh my God.
They had to cut it down. Even though it looked fake as shit.
That might mean there's a version of this that no one's ever seen that has more of that with everybody else, and this could just be like a Friday 7 situation.
Oh, man.
With more footage that no one's ever gonna see.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, we did it for Tam and the T-Rex, man. We willed that shit into existence. So maybe we'll get Pumpkinhead uncut.
Just hold our temples and go woo.
The Pumpkinhead. I'm looking at the scene now. Like, Pumpkinhead just stumbles into the room. Like, he can't move that fast.
This guy like could have gotten away, but he like trips over like an ottoman or some bullshit.
He like recognizes him at one point. He's like, "It's you, the fucking retard, isn't it?"
It's just like, wait, that looks nothing like the kid. What are you talking about?
And it flashes between Pumpkinhead's face and Tommy's face. And it's like, are you fucking drunk? What are you talking about?
Remember Ed Harley and how the fucking Pumpkinhead turned into him? Ooh.
Sorta.
I just love that Pumpkinhead's hands in this scene. They just don't move.
No.
But he keeps interacting with things. And it's like...
That's what I'm saying. It keeps reaching over and like it looks like Dead Alive when fucking Lionel's mom turns to the big bloated monstrosity and like her hands are clearly these giant immobile things.
But it's like, why didn't you build like a second pair of hands that were just like, what the... Like, K and B, you do good stuff. What are you doing with these hands?
I ask that question all the time. I guess it's like, it's got to be budgetary restriction, dude, and time. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, they saw the rest of the film as they were working, and I'm like, we don't need to kill ourselves on this. This is good enough.
Yeah, there's a quick scene back in the cabin that I loved because Amy Dolenz comes in and he's like, man, or excuse me, what's that one kid's name? Skip or whatever? He essentially plays the same role as the little brother in the first movie.
Oh, Paulie?
He's like, I saw you, man. You fucking hit that lady, dude, and that's why she died. He's like, I didn't do it. And he like is pointing his gun at this kid's head. And Amy Dolenz is like, you punched that old lady, didn't you? I believe him.
Maybe.
It's like, what do you mean you're all there?
But that's not the point right now.
When's somebody gonna get pulled out a fucking window?
Yeah, well, Paulie gets forced to go get the car, to gunpoint. He's got the gun right on his fucking temple.
Yeah.
And instead of
so
just leaving,
stupid.
this fucking asshole just like farts around with the car long enough to get murdered by Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, what was the objective here? Like, hey, go warm up the car for me. It's cold outside. Like,
A car that hasn't had a single issue running the entire film until this point, and now it's stalling out.
Well, it's because Pumpkinhead's magic.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows how to drive stick is the problem.
Oh, well, maybe. He's dead now, so it doesn't really matter.
No, I like the magic explanation.
Yeah, it was magic. It's Pumpkinhead magic.
Pumpkinhead just walks up and just like puts his fucking pinky through the engine block. He's like, there you go.
Oh man, he's like Norm.
I feel like Pumpkinhead is kind of like a lich, but without any talking. You just got to find the phylactery, wherever it may be. But he throws Paulie through the fucking cabin window, but like doesn't attack anybody, so he gives them enough time to escape.
From this point, when that dude gets thrown through the window, it's just the whole cabin chase scene from the first film.
Yeah, crammed into one part.
Exactly. We're even doing the same exact shots in a second.
Oh yeah, we're doing a lot of those like bird's eye view kind of shots that just like look really bad on this costume.
And yeah, the Pumpkinhead walking around the woods, it looks embarrassing. Like, At no point, like, this is the thing, I can't suspend my disbelief to think this is a monster. I just think, I'm like, oh, that's a guy in a suit who's having a hard time walking. Like,
Yeah.
That's a guy who can't see.
And that's unfortunate.
It's a shame.
it's like when someone has like a really complicated cosplay at a convention. And it's like,
Yeah,
wow, that,
yeah.
that looks cool, but like you're in everyone's way and you're constantly almost about to fall over.
And you can only stand in one spot for the next 4 hours.
Yeah.
You can't take a piss. You can't eat. And just real quick, the first one was so great because like I love how like Pumpkinhead was like in the trees, like up in the trees and like
Yeah.
grabbing people and shit.
That shit made me laugh. He was like a fucking cat. Like, he climbed to the top of this fucking tree.
Yeah.
Oh man, it just added a creep factor to it.
Yeah, give you like an idea. He was like the predator. He was like more mobile
Yeah.
and stuff. And this
Yeah.
one, nothing.
I just love the fact that he killed someone just by grabbing them, climbing up a tree, just to drop them.
Yeah. The kills in this scene are pretty good. I like the pipe, the spike.
Yeah.
The fucking shish kebab.
See, he is Jason from Friday 2.
Because he takes two of them out right here.
Yeah, and also like the speed up effect is pretty funny too. When he like throws him at the tree, it's pretty
Yeah.
hilarious.
Marcia trips like is her name Marcy or Marcia?
I think it's Marcy.
I don't know.
Marcy. Anyway, she fucking falls like 6 times during this chase.
And this guy keeps helping her up.
But specifically this right here, he takes this pike like off this fucking fence and stabs this chick, but he like lifts her up just like when he fucking stabs dude with the rifle in the first one.
Yeah.
It's like the same shot. Anyway, yeah, the fucking shish kebab to a tree is great.
It is weird for me to think about, like, this creature using weapons. It's like, dude, look at you. You have fucking claws all over you. You're 7 feet tall.
I know.
But you wanted to use a weapon.
Well, his claws suck. He can't bend his hands. He needs weapons.
He can't grab anything. He can't pick up cups and things.
Connor, he's basically just a fucking death claw. Like,
Yeah.
you would expect this thing to just decimate anything in its
Yeah.
path.
So he finally catches up to Jenny and Danny, and I think this is my favorite kill.
Oh, hands down.
Same.
100%. This is like one of the coolest kills ever.
Yeah, like this is what I'm here for this movie. He fucking like grabs Danny and like picks him up and just like screams in his face, and then grabs his head and in full frontal fucking explicitness just rips his fucking head off.
He like shakes it and rips it.
It's fantastic because he grabs it and he keeps ripping it back and forth. He's like just fucking, undoing it and then finally just pops it off and throws it to the ground.
Yeah, like you're trying to rip off Stretch Armstrong's fucking head or something.
Yeah, it's awesome. And, like when I saw that as a kid, that's when I was like, this thing's awesome. And then
Yeah, it was rad.
Right, yeah.
I do like that they scream in each other's faces for a bit.
Well, then Pumpkinhead chases Jenny around, and at this point, the sheriff and the judge's cavalry are both added to the equation, and they're kind of chasing around too.
And then it's kind of a race who will get there first kind of thing.
Yeah, and of course, they all end up at our favorite location, the mine shaft,
It all ends here.
where Jenny and Pumpkinhead are kind of facing off when the sheriff runs up and is like, "Oh, wait, remember I saved you 30 years ago?"
Look at this. Ossia gave me this fucking necklace. Remember?
And then like Delilah comes up behind him, and I was like, "Damn, like I didn't even know this woman was here still." Like, why is she chasing after the sheriff?
His wife is nowhere to be found.
And of course, they're at the mine shaft.
Yeah.
Where all the
yeah.
action in the town is. I don't get why the mayor wants, like, tourism. Just tell them about the mine shaft. It seems to be a big deal.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, right? It's like, it's a magic mine shaft.
So, by the way, I love the following sequence of events because it just gets progressively more hilarious from the visual perspective.
Man, we are wrapping this shit up.
Yeah.
Nothing is left to the imagination.
So the yokel backup shows up after the ship.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, we got to set this up.
Because first we have this whole back and forth between, Braddock and Pumpkinhead, kind of like, no, don't hurt her, kind of like I was saying, and we were talking about where it's like,
She's my daughter.
right, and he kind of actually gets Pumpkinhead to back down, and he kind of has like a moment where you almost get a sense that like Pumpkinhead kind of remembers that he was Tommy.
Oh, he totally does.
And it's all for naught because, like Connor was just saying, these fucking good old boys show up with all their fucking rifles and shotguns and just totally unload on this guy.
Wait, just right before we get into that, I just want to say one thing. Andrew Robinson makes an effort to get Pumpkinhead to run away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, get out of here, Tommy, get out of here. And like he's fucking Bigfoot or something.
Where's he gonna go? Is he gonna flee to Kansas? Like, what the fuck is he gonna do?
Is he just gonna live in the woods like Gator Face?
He's gonna go to Alaska with Jesse Pinkman.
Okay, what? A couple things about the scene. One, you could see the seam in the glove and the arm in Pumpkinhead's suit. I just paused that on that. I'm like, well, there it is. Two, Andrew Robinson, was that his name, right?
Yeah.
I've said this many times, but this scene, he's just acting his heart out, and it's like,
He really
stop
is.
it, not for this. And three, like, isn't Pumpkinhead like immortal? Like, the only way you killed him in the first one was to shoot the person he was connected to, but the person he's connected to in this is already dead.
Right.
Yeah, in this one, you just shoot him a lot.
And this is just Halloween 4. They just took the end from Halloween 4. Like, what the hell?
The logic here is, okay, Tommy, you're all done. You got your revenge. Now you're vulnerable, I guess. Is that what this is?
Well, I mean, when you have Vince Russo and the cavalry just unloading on you, I don't think you're going to survive that. I don't care who the fuck you are.
Vince Russo. I tell you, I invented the Pumpkinhead, okay?
I'm actually Ed Harley.
I created the Attitude Era.
They light this fucking Pumpkinhead up.
Yeah.
And then at some point he gets hooked on to the same hook where he fucking got hung in 1958.
Well, they shoot him onto his mark. They're like, you got to move over, little Pumpkinhead. We'll shoot you over to it.
Yeah, and then hilarity ensues because now it's no longer an actor. It's a fucking dummy. And, like, the only thing it can do is fucking T-pose. So it's just like, brrr, his arms just keep going up like Christ. And there's just like squibs exploding all over the place, just getting shot and riddled up. And they keep doing close-ups, and I'm like, that's not a person. Like,
He spreads his arm at one point. I'm like, is he going to ascend? Because like a light comes down, and I'm like, is he just going to like dissipate because he's magic? No. He gets shot like a fucking pig and then dropped into this fucking hole and then explodes.
when he drops, at some point his legs kind of hit the scaffolding, and he bends in half like a fucking G.I. Joe. It's the funniest fucking thing.
They had to cut her. You can see how they had to like cut around it because like, oh, that looked like shit. All right, cut it here, and then we'll show it a little bit later when it falls farther.
I like his arms. He looks like he's flapping.
So what's the moral? You get murdered just because you're different, and then you come back and try to get some revenge, and you're murdered again? In the same exact way?
For exactly the same reason.
Okay, sure.
We don't like pumpkinheads around here.
We really let Tommy's soul rest.
I mean, they had more of a reason to kill him this time.
Sure.
Because, like, last time he just was doing nothing. This time he's actually killed some people. Like, oh, shit.
Right, but there's like, why are we trying to feel empathy for the creature? Like, there's like that whole kind of like Frankenstein creature from the Black Lagoon thing going on here. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know if Pumpkinhead needs that. You just took everything about Pumpkinhead that makes Pumpkinhead and just threw it in the fucking garbage.
Right, because like the first one works because you feel for Ed Harley.
Yeah.
Right.
And then everything gets kind of out of hand by the end.
And his guilt gets him. And like the Pumpkinhead is his anger and revenge personified. And
it's not like a thing. It's not like a real person. Maybe it becomes a person if it succeeds, but we don't know. Apparently it fucks witches in the woods, but, you know, we haven't seen that yet. We've heard about it.
What? Like,
we've been told about it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like a sinister desire, like externalized, where it's like you get to look upon your own vengeance in physical form.
Yeah.
And like in the first one, like you said before, it starts to turn into Lance Henriksen. So now, like when he looks at it, it's like now you're definitely seeing you in a perverted form, and this is how you look when you concentrate on vengeance this much.
Right, and how ugly it is, and you're hurting these people, you know. And that's the whole point of that first movie. And this one's kind of just like, all right, so he's a monster, a misunderstood monster, basically.
Yeah, and they kill him by playing, like, what is that carnival game? Like Dunk the Idiot, where they throw the ball, fucking hit the button, and the chair falls in the water.
Aptly put.
Who could forget that timeless classic game, Dunk the Idiot? That's great.
Well, then, they cut to the final next morning crime scene, because nothing can happen all in one night.
Wait, by the way, real quick, Andrew Robinson just like tells Pumpkinhead, because he's like, Tommy, you remember me? Remember the fire truck? Remember I saved your life?
Oh my
remember all
God.
that stuff? And he's like, yeah, I do, Andrew Robinson. Welp, I guess I'm gonna die. Right after all that shit happens, the next morning, Amy Dolenz is there now with him, and he's like, oh, hey, Dad, remember that fire truck? And remember that kid? And remember when you saved him? Well, Mom just told me about it. And I'm like, okay.
And the dad's like, you have a mom? Like, what the hell?
What do you mean, Mom?
Well, I said Mom, but I actually meant the coroner, Delilah.
You mean the doctor lady? Is that who you're talking about?
It's just like, did the filmmakers like think that we didn't get it the scene before, and they had to reiterate it again?
Well, no, Joe, because then they literally show the fire truck there, and Andrew Robinson pick it up and go, huh, I wonder.
Pumpkinhead's giving out fucking presents, dude.
And he's like, I wonder what the significance of this is. Credits.
It's so terrible. It's like, it really makes Pumpkinhead 1 look so much better.
Oh my God.
I know.
Like, it makes that's one thing I like about this movie. It's like, this isn't what could it, like, when you think of Pumpkinhead, this is the kind of dumb shit you think of.
Right. Yes.
And the first movie is like so much better.
Oh yeah.
Surprisingly so.
And here's the thing: I'm not in love with the first movie, but compared to this one, it's like Citizen Kane. Like, this movie is so stupid.
The first movie is like an 80s horror movie that actually has like a good story and themes and a compelling character. It's not just schlock. It seems like, oh, this is schlock.
Yeah.
But like the first one, there's substance to it, and this one, there's just nothing. Didn't this one go direct to video? Like, it didn't even make it to theaters. Like, why even bother at that point?
I know, right?
I love the descending order of release importance. Like, first one's like probably a theatrical release, second one straight to video, 3 and 4 right to sci-fi.
Ugh, yeah, fucking pass, dude. And here's the thing. Well, I'll get to that in my final thought. So where are we putting this, guys?
I will go first because I thought about this. So I take this movie, I pick it up, and I walk outside, and I'm walking towards my pumpkin patch. And as I'm about to hit the pumpkin patch, I turn and make a sharp left towards my driveway. Walk to the end of it, take a left, turn to the dumpster, turn around, yeet this thing behind me into the dumpster, wipe my hands off, and walk away. This movie's fucking terrible.
I would just like to note the close proximity that Connor lives next to a pumpkin patch. Just, right in his yard, apparently.
And, well, Ashley's growing some shit. She might be growing pumpkins.
It's possible.
And we have a dumpster right outside that us and the neighbors use. So, this is a bad horror film. It's badly made. Its story structure's shit. Like, it's just got logical fallacies left and right, and it ignores the first movie to a total fault. Because the first movie has, like, it's, like I said, I'm not in love with it, but I can also recognize the cool shit it has. And like I said, it's all mood. And that's what I like about it. And this movie is like, you can't even say it's style over substance because there's no style at play here. Everything is just kind of is. And that's not good enough. And like the fact that this movie has a fucking video game tie-in is one of the weirdest fucking things to me. I can't believe that shit.
I can't wait to play that.
I forgot to mention that because Tony and I are gonna play that into a video to go along with this, like a companion piece.
I looked at pictures of that game and I was like, I'd rather play Chex Quest.
Chex Quest is actually a good game.
Chex Quest is a perfectly competent shooter. It's fucking great. But this movie is irreverent and stupid, and it's not really made for anyone specifically. It's seemingly just made so someone can either hold on to the rights or just to make a quick buck. It feels cynical, and it feels cheap, and it feels rushed, and that's kind of like the worst kind of effort you can put in. So I don't like it. I don't respect it. I think it's a terrible movie.
Is it up to me now? I'm going to place this in an envelope with the divorce papers for the sheriff in this movie. I'm just going to mail it to them so they can be like, why didn't our marriage work? It's like, oh, because clearly I was way more into this lady doctor than you, and I forgot you were around. So that's where I'm going to put this movie. I have a soft spot for this. It introduced me to Pumpkinhead, so I can't hate it too much.
Right.
But I think maybe I saw like the last 30 minutes when I first saw it.
No.
And those aren't too bad, but yeah, the whole movie, like in general, it's pretty terrible. Don't watch this unless you really want to. Like, it's not even kind of like so bad it's good. It's just kind of like it's an interesting idea in how not to do a sequel. I'll give it that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Aggressively mediocre.
Yeah.
So, this is a shelf movie with an asterisk.
Okay.
Kind of like Child's Play 3, it just gets up there to complete the original trilogy.
No. See,
Not even.
That's the thing. So like I said, I watched 3 and 4 yesterday, and I don't even want those films in my collection. I don't need them at all.
I gotta watch them now.
You have to know, right?
Yeah, I have to.
Okay, go for it. If you thought this was hard to get through, get ready to take a fucking nap, dude. See, I watched this a couple months ago, and I was like, this is fucking terrible. Like, because I had just watched the first one. Like, I watched this in November, I think, because I had watched Pumpkinhead, because I watch it every October, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna, I was doing something. I was like, I'm gonna put Blood Wings on. And even like not paying attention to it and just kind of having it in the background, I kept looking up going, what the fuck? And I was like, this movie's awful. But in comparison to 3 and 4, this is really good. Wow. And having watched those two and then watch this, I want to go a little bit easier on this. Mm-hmm. And now I do own the first one and I do own the second one. It's kind of
I can just hear you struggling. It's so funny.
Because it's like I want to own it because it's on the shelf rather because it's not a good successor to Pumpkinhead, but it's again, I think Tony put it best. It's everything you don't want to do with the sequel. It's one of those things where it crosses the border into that schlockiness, and I think now that talking back about it and having watched them all, I feel like Pumpkinhead and Pumpkinhead 2 are I always talk about this, about how you make a horror movie shitty and not shitty, or serious and not serious. And this is a perfect case here. If you watch Pumpkinhead 1 and then Pumpkinhead 2, you can see the difference in tonality and the way it's written and the way, as far as the atmosphere goes, the lighting, just the way that everybody kind of carries themselves and the way the script and how the movie takes itself seriously. And a lot of people think taking a movie seriously could be like a snooty thing or whatever. But if you get it right, like Pumpkinhead... Look, it's not a masterpiece, but like it's a very enjoyable backwoods monster / demon / ghost story thing.
Yeah.
And this is kind of just like, it's a monster movie. Yeah, shit happens, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not really much there. There's no meat to it.
There's no backbone.
No, and it's just. It's overly convoluted, and there's too much shit going on, and there's totally two stories happening that don't need to fucking be there. But I will put it on the shelf because it is a companion piece to remind me
the sci-fi channel.
Better times.
Exactly, because I feel like that's a big thing now. Like we're consuming all of this shit, all these remakes, and all of this kind of like shit that's just grinded out. And not to say that there wasn't a lot of that back then, but like especially now, I feel like people are rushing to just do something and just get it out and really not taking their time with it. And that's what this movie feels like. And the first one is a testament to why you should take your time and craft your story and craft a good movie. So yeah, it's on the shelf. If not for nothing else, is to be a reminder of that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fucking dumpster movie for me. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I was thinking, you know what? Pumpkinhead 1 is like you go to White Castle and you get what you want, and it comes out great, and you don't really have any complaints about it. It was an even meal. It goes on the proverbial shelf. And then you get the second movie, and I compare it to, like, it's White Castle, but it's the frozen kind that you get at the store. They never heat up right. They're always a little too soggy. Like, they have the onions in the burger and everything, and it's, like, similar, but there's just like something about it's just fucking off. So that's kind of how I felt about this movie. Like the first one, I kind of agree with Connor. I don't think it's like some kind of classic, but it's memorable.
Oh, it's a classic. It's a classic, dude.
I personally don't think it is. I think the character of Pumpkinhead, I put on a higher level than the movie itself. I think the character to me is more interesting than the movie itself. Like I do like
That doesn't mean it's not a
Pumpkinhead.
classic.
I mean, it's a matter of opinion, at the end of the day here.
I know.
But I do like Pumpkinhead the creature. I think the creature's fucking really cool. And I
Sure.
guess my point of making the White Castle comparison is like, I don't know. I like White Castle. I mean, I think it's like pretty night and day if you've had the frozen kind. It's trying to do what it does in the fast food restaurant, and it never fucking does it. So, you take those patties, you had one or two just because you bought the fuckers and you don't want to waste them. And the rest, you just are like, I just can't do this to my asshole. And you just dump those in the dumpster. And, maybe some rats nibble on them, maybe some crickets chomp on them. And it eventually lands somewhere towards the middle of the dumpster. And then, the rest of those pumpkin heads, just based on what I've heard tonight, clearly just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper into this fucking mess, let's call it, at the bottom of the dumpster.
They're in a whole nother fucking category, dude.
Yeah, they basically are so bad they've acid dripped through the bottom of the dumpster and now like burning a hole through the Earth's crust.
They're disintegrated and they're an unidentifiable substance.
Yeah. You don't want to drink that shit, put it that way. This isn't the stuff. You don't want that in your mouth. Not a great film. I'm going to say first one, if you've never seen it, I would recommend it. It's worth seeing. And this, unless you're just a fucking diehard like us or crazy, take your pick, diehard or crazy or a little bit of both, sure. But stop here.
Yeah.
Please stop here.
There's no need to continue.
There really isn't. I mean, the story has been told already. And if you want to see Lance Henriksen look sad, I mean, go for it.
Nobody wants to see that, Joe.
Nobody wants to see that.
For some perspective, Lance Henriksen was so ashamed of 3 and 4 that he escaped a Q&A for those movies by getting on his hands and knees and crawling out of the building.
If that doesn't put it into perspective for you, I don't know what does. Tony, do you wanna plug anything?
Oh yeah, I'll plug my channel, Hack the Movies.
Yes.
Where I do stupid content in character.
It's fucking hilarious.
So I have to ask, Tony, how many times have you beaten Siphon Filter?
Oh, all right. So yeah, currently right now I'm doing a series called Siphon Filter and Friends because it's my favorite game. And people make fun of me all the time for it, even though it's a very loved game. And Joe will be on this episode coming up, episode 5, the Anton Gurdu episode. That's the flamethrower boss. I've beaten it a couple times when I was younger. I beat it recently because I was like practicing it. But I would just like pick like my favorite levels and I would just go nuts in that game over and over again. It's a fun game.
Yeah, I've never played it myself, but I've been watching your series and I'm like, damn, I fucking missed out on this. I gotta find a copy on eBay.
Well, oh no, here's even cheaper. Get a PlayStation Classic. That thing that's so
that's
horribly
what you've been playing on, right?
It's on the PlayStation Classic. It plays great on it, and yeah, I'm taking it to New York tomorrow. I took it to LA. It made the show way easier to film.
Okay, yeah.
Than lugging an entire PlayStation. But yeah, the PlayStation Classic's like $30 now.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a good deal.
Yeah, so because they didn't sell that well. And also I'm involved with Cinemassacre. I'm on their show Rental Reviews. On the second channel, I'm on a show called Mike and Tony Tuesdays. I help write and edit Angry Video Game Nerd. So you can find me over there, and I'm usually at a convention dressed like an asshole doing videos. So,
what can you explain to me just for a moment this fan of yours, or I don't know if it's a fan of yours specifically.
Joker fan?
Oh,
Joker fan of the Joker specifically.
Joker fan 279. Yeah. It's a
Joe
character.
was telling me about this, and I was watching some of it on Hack the Movies, and I was fucking dying.
Yeah, he just did his recap of the Crisis TV series on CW.
Oh, really?
Right up Connor's alley.
Yeah, so Joker fan is basically like my reaction to just annoying fanboys who take things way too seriously and bitch nonstop.
Oh, then I love it already.
Yeah, I have a reverse of the character called social justice warrior Larry Croft, and that's someone who is offended by everything and wants everything to be super like political and progressive. So they're like both two ends of the spectrums that piss me off, and they're parodies of both.
When are they gonna have a debate?
Well, the closest they ever got is Joker Fan did a video called Wonder Woman Sucks. and then Larry Croft did reacting to sexist man babies Wonder Woman review. Where it was me in character reacting to one of my other characters' videos. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
That's tremendous.
This is the kind of comedy that is like fucking perfect. That's like right up my alley.
Yeah, so yeah, Joker Fan's the more active one, and he has a friend called Mega Bat Friend, who's a morbidly obese man who thinks he's Batman.
When the two of them get together, dude, it's probably one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen.
It's my favorite character, because it started off as just a parody of this, like, because was it like 2015, I think, or 2016 is when, like, you know, people were bitching about Ghostbusters, which I agree sucked. But people were like getting way too upset about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then like they saw a black guy in Star Wars, and people were just writing novels on how it ruined Star Wars. And it's like, guys, freaking relax. Like, what the hell are you doing? So I'm like, the best way I can make fun of it was like, I'm just gonna make a character that's just these people.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and like I said, same thing with Larry Croft, where it was just like people writing articles trying to politicize everything. It's like, what the fuck you, like, these are cartoons. Can you guys just relax?
Yeah,
no one really cares. So yeah, but more people know me for the Cinemassacre stuff.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks for coming on, dude. Really appreciate it. And we had a really good time today. So
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So if you have been kind of following along, we planned at Phantom Zone to cover Crisis on Infinite Earths, and we did it in 1 3-hour fucking gauntlet of an episode. We covered all 5 parts. We talked about the episodes themselves, all the references, all the Easter eggs. There's a fucking shit ton of them.
Yeah.
And where we kind of think that universe is going, and it does kind of mark the end of us reviewing TV on a regular basis, and because it's exhausting, and as I've talked about on the show a bunch of times, when you consume that much TV after a while, it just weighs down your soul. But the episode's recorded, should be coming out soon. Actually, by the time this comes out, it'll probably be out, and we have a bunch of really insane Movie Dumpster DC crossover photoshops that Lou from Phantom Zone made. And I think they just, one of them just worked on a Crisis on Infinite Earth poster that's everyone's face is replaced by Lucifer's. So we have a bunch of really funny shit coming out to kind of promote that episode. But yeah, I hope everybody comes down and listens to it, because we put a lot of energy into that, so we do all appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely check out the Phantom Zone. Definitely check out Hack the Movies, and of course, Cinemassacre. So yeah, and also, Dumpster Dwellers, keep your eyes peeled, because we're going to be doing that Pumpkinhead video game video, and that should be coming out right around this time. So if you listen to this first, definitely go check that out, and vice versa.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
So that's it. That's Pumpkinhead II, Blood Wings from 1993, directed by Jeff Burr.
Hey everybody, if you want some more bad movie goodness, you can check us out at moviedumpsterpodcast.com.
Subscribe to us anywhere you listen to your podcast, and make sure to leave us a 5-star review if you dig the show, because it helps us get out of the bottom of the dumpster and into more eardrums.
Yeah, and if you're on the social medias, you can follow us at Movie Dumpster on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor McGraw.
And I'm Tony from Hack the Movies.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.
Well, let me put it this way. The Loch Ness Monster, the Abominable Snowman, Bigfoot, that stuff is big business. The way I see it, this thing could put us on the map. Now, I got a couple of guys from the National Enquirer all set to come down here.
People have died here, you know, and you do know that, don't you?
Tragedy, ain't it? Well, so is the budget of this here town. You get my drift?
I want that creature, Braddock. Dead or alive, I want it.